afford a gavel anymore, so I'm just gonna go.
Where's the gavel?
I don't know. Come in. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to convene the meeting, call the October 2024 Committee Accreditation meeting to order. Ms. Bernardo, will you please call the roll?
Allison Leggett.
Here.
Dustin Cervantes. Ann Jones.
Here.
Katrina Chakowski. Patrick McKee.
Here.
Paul Fraley.
Here.
Alan Hallis.
Here.
Mike Hillis. Malika Bryant. Here. Jason Lee. Juliana Sykes.
Here.
Kevin Taylor.
Here. Warm. Great, thank you so much, and happy Halloween to everybody. For those who are watching us online, we have a couple people who are wearing their attire. We have a Dodger fan who's fully dressed up, which is great. Dr. Jones has that. Dr. Sykes, she's got her. There it is. Yeah, that looks great on you. Okay. So let's go through some of the logistics. This meeting is being conducted in a hybrid fashion. All members are in person. Other participants, such as institutional representatives and team leads, and some staff will be attending virtually, while others will be in person. Thank you. The Zoom link and a toll-free phone number have also been made available to the public. Regarding microphones, as a reminder, the meeting rooms in this new building include built-in microphones, speakers, cameras, and monitors. We are still learning about the technology, and there have been some glitches along the way, but we're working hard to work it all out, so we ask for your patience as we do so. As a reminder, the ceiling microphones will pick up everything that is said at all times, and they are always on. So please be aware that anything that is said in this room will be captured. Any side conversation should be kept to a bare minimum, if at all, while in this room. And this includes during the breaks. Please take your conversations out into the hall. Zoom identification. For those who are participating via Zoom, we'd like to ask that everyone check their Zoom ID and be sure it contains your first and last name accurately, so we're able to call on you appropriately, and also so that we get all names accurately recording in the meeting minutes. If you need to update your name, click on the 3 dots in the window with your picture to bring us a rename option. When it is time to take up an item, we will need a moment to bring the appropriate virtual attendees into the main Zoom meeting room and make sure they can see and hear the committee. And also, we can see and hear them. Participants will need to turn on the camera and unmute the microphone. Regarding public comment, if any member of the public wishes to comment on a specific item, please use the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen during the item, or if you're in person, please complete a card which will be available at the back of the room. You will be brought into the main meeting room at the appropriate time and asked to state your name and affiliation for the record. If you wish to speak on a specific item, please send a request through the chat feature telling us which item you wish to speak to, so we can make sure to call on you during the appropriate time. Or you can send your comments through the chat feature and we'll read those aloud. Please make sure we have your full name and affiliation and which item number and name you were referencing. There's also time designated for general public comment at the end of the meeting. Public comment will be restricted to 2 minutes each. Recording. This meeting is being recorded, and after the meeting ends, the archived audio and video will be available on the Commission's website. Regarding motions and vote to committee members, when you make your motions, please state the motion in full so there is no question as to what the motion is. If committee members have any questions during the voting voting procedures and protocols today. Seeing none, we're going to item 2. Item 2 is the approval of the agenda. There are motions to approve the agenda for the October 2024 meeting.
Move to approve the agenda of the October 2024 meeting.
So moved by member Jones. Is there a second? Second. Second by member Taylor. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item 3. Item 3 is the approval of the minutes of the prior meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the September 2024 meeting? It would be appropriate for any committee member who was not in attendance at that meeting to abstain. Are there any abstentions? One abstention, member Hellis. 2, and member Sykes. So at this time, is there a motion?
Motion to approve the September.
Motion by member Leggett. Is there a second? Second by member Taylor. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I should have also asked, are there any corrections or changes that were noted? All right, seeing none, thank you. Item 4 is the co-chair and member reports. Any members have items you'd like to share with us? All right, I'll pass it over to Ms. Hickey.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, it's not the staff reports. We're doing those at the end, but I just wanted to mention that two of our longtime staff members will be retiring very soon. Gay Roby, this is her last day today. So she has been with the commission 14 years, served California education for 35 years. And we were able to get her a nice, beautiful assembly resolution before she left. So that was wonderful. But yes, so we will miss Gay enormously. And then soon we will be also missing Karen Sacramento, who will also be retiring. Her last day is still a little unknown, but this is technically her last COA meeting. So just wanted to acknowledge her as well. And she started, I think, with the commission the year before I did, so 2001. And before that, of course, was a school counselor and has just done phenomenal work with the induction community. So just acknowledging both of them, and I will turn it back over to you.
Thank you, and we'll just say a couple words. First, I'll start with Gay. I don't know if Gay, if you're listening, we love you and we're going to miss you. You're a tough act to follow. Gay is responsible for bringing me into the CTC world, so you have her to blame. But I think I started maybe the year after she did. She brought me, did the IPR, program review, and then became a team member. And she was the consultant on that team. Then I did team lead. She was the consultant, and she was always so gracious and so helpful. I remember we had Gay, I hope you remember, we had a hotel across from USC. We were doing a review of a university up there, and there was no available room in the hotel to discuss. So we pinned a sheet on the wall in a hotel room, and then we broadcast from the computer onto the sheet on the wall. Go ahead. I don't know if you remember that, Gay, but you've just been your friendly face, your knowledge, your demeanor is something we are all going to miss. So yeah, and so everybody's saying here. So again, congratulations on your retirement. Live it well, enjoy it, and look forward to your next chapter in your life. Do you want to say about Gay and about Karen?
Absolutely. And I do hope you're listening, Gay, because you really are the right-hand person to especially the admin induction side of the world. And I think back to when I started in the program, I attended her workshop at the induction conference and really the inspiration for us to build our induction program. And throughout cluster 4, I'll speak specifically when your name comes up, everyone smiles, everyone feels supported, everyone's happy. When people find out you are retiring, there's going to be a lot of sadness for us, excitement for you that you'll be able to retire, but just true gratefulness for all that you have done and being there for all of us. And whenever there are messages to deliver, always with kindness, always with a smile, and always with a can-do attitude. And so just know you have some big shoes to fill, because you are a phenomenal bright spot in all the work that we do. So thank you.
And Karen, I hope you were listening as well. I remember when I first started work with the CTC and eventually we came onto the committee here. I guess it was 11 years ago. A long time. I remember somebody saying Karen and they're saying Karen Sacramento. I said, yeah, but what's her last name? I get it. But Karen, you've always been a bright spot, and you're so intelligent and so bright and so able to look straight through anything that might have an appearance of that doesn't quite match up with what the facts should be. You're very perceptive, and you're always been calm and be able to give us all the information that we need. And been a great sounding board for us from time to time. And I know we're going to miss you. I understand you're leaving not until December, but I hope you really enjoy your retirement and also enjoy and live it well, and do stay in touch with everybody here. We're going to miss you.
And I want to also just add in that when I think about induction, I exactly think of Karen Sacramento. Like you are the lifeline of the work that we do. And equally, to Gay, that bright spot that we know that we can reach out to you and contact you. And I've learned from you in your communications. Every word you speak, every email you send is so thoughtful. And your approach to not be directive, but to guide is something that I try to model in the work that I do as well, is to how do you lend it to somebody to be able to make a decision, but also know the parameters by which they have leeway. Your kindness, your approachability. I have to say, when I first joined into the induction world and I had to reach out to you, I was so nervous. Like I'm reaching out to Karen Sacramento, like I have her email address, like it was like a Hollywood celebrity in the education world. And then to find you to be just so approachable and so kind and just really made it so that any question was able to be asked, and that you genuinely have always been here to support all of us in the work that we do. And an extension of Cluster 4, I know that when the word gets out, everyone's going to be saddened for your loss, but also excited for you, because you are going into retirement. That all of us hopefully will be there one day and soon, but a loss to our community. But you said that she'll still be around for some time. So we're going to take advantage of every moment that we have with you over the next few months, and we wish you the absolute very best. So thank you, Karen, for all that you've done for us.
Thank you both. So nobody else is allowed to leave. Anything that there was a weird interaction. All right.
What's that? So Gay put something in the chat. I don't know if Michelle, can you read it?
She says, "Thank you for your kind words, Bob and Patrick. I'm so blessed to have found so many friends within the pool of colleagues in the work of the commission. I will miss each one of you."
Oh, very sweet. Thanks, Gabe.
Thank you, Gay.
Yeah. All right. Item 5. Item 5 is program approval recommendations. This section is for action, and there are 8 institutions with 8 programs for approval. We have a lot more proposals than we had originally expected to have, which is why we talked about the time earlier today to be sure we work to get this all taken care of in a timely fashion, and also be sure you all make it. Staff suggests that we do the first 4. We're going to stop before Long Beach CAFC, and the rest will take up after the UC Riverside 7th year report later on this morning. Okay, first institution is Vanguard University's Preliminary Education Specialist, Mild to Moderate Support Needs Program. Joining us today from Vanguard University to answer any questions you may have about the program are Dr. Jeff Hittenberger, Dean of the School of Education, Dr. Joanne Van Boxtel, Associate Professor and Faculty Director for Special Education, and Dr. Alex Lynn, Associate Professor and Chair of Liberal Studies. Do we have any recusals?
If they're not on yet.
Recusal, by the way, while we're waiting.
Sorry, we're bringing.
Okay, great, thank you.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Ready?
Okay, you have everybody. All right. So now that you're welcome, by the way, to the institution, thank you for joining us. Do you have any comments you wish to make regarding your proposal?
Yes. Hi, this is Joanne Van Boxtel.
Can't hear.
Oh,
Hold on one second.
okay.
Is it
Can you
on?
hear me?
Yes, yes, now we can.
Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you to the commission. Thank you to the Committee on Accreditation. And I do want to give a special thanks to our IPR consultant, Poonam Betty, and Rosemary Wren as well, for both of their help throughout this process with their ongoing guidance and support. Also to our peer reviewers who volunteered their time and expertise in giving us feedback. I will just highlight a few points about our proposed education specialist mild moderate support needs credential. One of the great pleasures of the program design was developing a special education advisory council, and that was comprised of parents, faculty, staff, administrators, and community members, and they've been very instrumental in giving us feedback and helping ensure our program meets the needs of the field. We're offering an undergraduate pathway through the Liberal Studies program. That's our ITEP option, and our post-baccalaureate option, which will be 3 semesters. We designed the program to be as flexible as possible with candidates in mind who may be working in the field in some capacity already, or who may have just other responsibilities. And we are offering flexible modalities with hybrid and online options. And another feature I wanted to touch on is our practice-based experiences that are embedded throughout the coursework to address recommendations in the literature for teacher effectiveness. And then finally, our beginning and advanced clinical practice teaching experiences allow candidates to integrate what they're learning and bridge theory to practice right away in the program. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Is Ben Boxtel. Thank you. Anyone else wish to offer any comment?
I just want, on behalf of the School of Education, to thank you for your support. We're so grateful for Dr. Van Bostel's leadership of this program. Dr. Alex Lynn has played an instrumental role in creating this program as well. And we're very, very excited about the potential for contributing to the formation of the next generation of special education teachers.
Thank you, Dr. Hittenberger. Dr. Lynn, would you wish to offer any comment?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. This would have made possible, obviously, without Joanne, but also last year in June when we received the CTC ITEP grant, the planning grant. That's what made it all possible. So just thank you that you offered this opportunity and we ran with it. And so we can be more grateful that to have your support. So thank you.
Thank you. We're now going to open for public comment. As a reminder, if there are any members of the public that would like to provide a comment, please notify the meeting moderator by submitting a request card, by clicking on the raised hand icon if participating through Zoom, or by pressing *9 if participating by phone. Any comments will be limited to 2 minutes. Are there any public comments?
Public comments, Bob.
Thank you. Any committee members have any questions for the representatives from Vanguard University? Co-Chair McKee.
First of all, thank you for being here this afternoon and for always being present, especially as the Dean of the department, Dr. Hittenberg. You're always there for all of the presentations, which is appreciated. So my question is more of a wondering, actually, and looking at your course sequence, I found it impressive that holding IEP meetings is addressed in 7 of your classes. And when our new education specialists join the field, I think holding an IEP meeting is probably one of the greatest challenges. And although it's only in one of the TPE subsections, you are addressing it 7 times. So my question and wondering is, how are they given a real world application? So they learn about stuff in classes, but how are you preparing them for when they sit down and actually deliver their IEP meetings?
I think I can address that. So the plan for what you've seen in the syllabi is to bring in some of those elements of the IEP process through role play. I actually just learned of a new resource at the recent CCTE conference to help with IEP support and development. I'm sorry, the name of the group that designed the resource escapes me right now, but bringing in resources to help inform candidates about their obligations, to think about how we can partner with families, to simulate it as much as possible through the candidates, practicing through role play. And then our plan is also within our clinical practice seminars to bring in guest speakers, parents who can speak to their roles in that process. And then I would say the strongest element will be within their beginning and advanced clinical practice experiences, because they'll be for the beginning clinical practice, it's a semester-long experience. So it's kind of like student teaching light. And, some of their requirements will be to engage with their cooperating teacher, to observe IEP meetings, to yeah, to kind of have as much, initial practice with the IEP process, and then goal writing, keeping, observable, measurable goal writing, and keep coming back to that throughout the methods courses, and into clinical practice is another way to build them up.
Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing about the role playing. I think that's a really beneficial. And again, I appreciate that it comes up repeatedly throughout your course sequence. That it's not a one and done because it's such an important aspect of their job. So I commend you for acknowledging that.
Thank you. And I just also want to credit our special ed advisory council, because that was very loud and clear in the feedback and ensuring candidates have as much practice with the IEP process, especially coming from administrators in the field. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you both. Any other committee member who wants to offer comment or question? Member Sykes.
I'd just like to make a comment. First of all, thank you so much. Just such a well organized and thoughtful, design that you have. And just wanted to, speak to the piece that you have around, looking at junior transfer students, and then also leveraging the classified employee to teacher grant as a way to make a teacher credential pathway accessible for new and aspiring teachers, and also to respond to your local district needs. And just really want to commend you for that intentional design of your program and supporting people into a credential program using, your existing talent pool and supporting local districts.
Thank you so much.
Great, thank you. Any further comment or question? There is an action item. Is there a motion? Member Hellis.
I move to approve the preliminary education specialist mild to moderate support needs for Vanguard University.
So moved. Is there a second? Second by Member Taylor. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries. Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Thank you
you
so much for Dr.
Really
Sandra.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you all for joining us. Take care.
Thank you.
Next up is King Chavez Neighborhood of Schools Education Specialist, Mild to Moderate Support Needs Intern Pathway. Joining us today from King Chavez Neighborhood of Schools to answer any questions you may have about the program are Marky Boulder, Credential Operations and Program Advisor, Leah Dato, Casey Annis. Did I say that correctly? Dato or Dato?
Leah Dotto.
Leah Dato, thank you so much. KCNS Ed Specialist, and Colleen Marble, Director of Instructional Leadership. Are there any recusals on the item? I'm seeing none. Would the institutional representative like to say anything about your proposed program?
Yes, hi, I'm Marky Bover, and I just wanted to start by saying we're so thankful to be here today again. We started the idea of this program back during COVID to offer a more flexible, partially online program with a more achievable tuition price. And we continued on that path over the last few years, and we feel extremely grateful to continue the growth. We now have multiple subject, single subject, and hopefully today, education specialist. I also just wanted to give a quick thank you to Poonam and Miranda, and also Rosemary, again, for their continued support over the last few years. And then I just wanted to say a little bit about us. We are 5 free public charter schools located in San Diego. Go Padres. Serving students through TK and 12th grade. And this program is an intern program, so we offer an alternate route to earning a preliminary teaching credential. So the candidates are actually teaching while taking our courses online, which again offers the alternate route. We use a system of online and person courses and fieldwork, and we have robust mentor support, systematic professional development to prepare our new teachers on the journey. And as mentioned in the last panel, we are with this education specialist, we feel that we are adapting to local district needs. Our intern growth has been growing since every year, and even 50% of our interns at our school, 50% of our education specialists at our school are interns. So for example, in 2023, we had 13 education specialists and 7 of them were interns. And each year, our number of IEPs have increased significantly. So we just feel that this program is going to be great for us to bring our interns into our program on the ground.
Great, thank you for your comments. Anyone else wish to offer any comment or thoughts?
I'm just very excited to have hopefully our own internship program. As the special education director for King Chavez, I'm in charge of the hiring and the difficulty of hiring the education specialists. So yes, we've had a number of interns throughout the year. What I like about King Chavez is the support that we give our teachers. So our interns after the 2 years do stay with us, and that's how we are able to retain the education specialists within our school network.
Thank you.
I would like to jump in and just first off say happy Halloween. It took everything in me not to like wear cat ears or something, but I want to thank Marky for
Your song.
Good. I want to thank Marky for her hard work and dedication to creating this well-rounded, specifically education specialist program, but then all our other intern programs that I feel are we're in desperate need down in San Diego. There's a hiring shortage. And so finding these folks that we hire as aides that show promise and having a pathway for them to go straight into a district intern program is going to be really crucial for just molding the educators of the future. And we're really, really thankful for all your support.
Thank you. Are there any public comments?
No public comments.
Thank you. Any community members have any questions for the King Chavez Neighborhood of Schools? Member Sykes.
First of all, thank you for putting together such a robust program and also again for responding to local district need. We know that there's a shortage of ed specialist teachers across the state, and this type of program will certainly help minimize and mitigate that shortage that we're all experiencing. My question I have for you is in reviewing your field experience or field supervision course, I was wondering how you are looking at the early field experience component for your ed specialist candidates as their intern teachers, and what do you have in your program design that will enable them to get those early field experiences outside of their teaching assignment?
So during our pre-service courses, before they even enter the field, there is a special education course that's dedicated towards writing IEPs, observing IEPs, learning the ins and outs of all of the supports. So before they even enter the program, they have to complete that course. Then once they're in the program, they have 2 years of on-the-ground, hands-first experience in fieldwork. They do have to do 12 observations a year. Writing IEPs, performing IEPs, small group, anything in that realm. So they are observed 12 times during the year, both years. And they are given a caseload of 5 to 10 students their first year, and then as well as the second year. So because it's an intern program, they're already in the field rather than it's, like I said, it's an alternate path. So it's not just into student teaching, they're already on the ground, and they have that experience prior to entering the program because of our pre-service work. Did that answer the question?
I think so. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Member Ellis.
Yeah, thank you so much for a very complete submission. I was just wondering how you approached the new literacy TPEs and the intern pathway, since maybe not every teacher is going to be teaching quote unquote traditional literacy, how you're going to make sure they get those experiences throughout the program.
Yes, so I will say that was probably the most difficult part of writing this program as a team, because when we first started creating this program as a whole, those new TPEs weren't out yet. So we had to rewrite our multiple subject, which actually helped us with our single subject and now education specialist, because we had already created that for our multiple subject. So our education specialist interns actually take all of the same coursework as the multiple subject credentials, except for multiple subject specific. That's when they take their education specialist specific courses. So all of the TPEs are already built into all of their online coursework that they take at night online. But it was very difficult getting all of those in, but we did it.
Thank you.
Any other further comments, Co-Chair Mickey?
I want to extend what Member Sykes had asked a similar question. So I appreciate hearing that there's going to be IEP support throughout their fieldwork experience, because similar to what I spoke to earlier, I think that's probably one of the most important things that happens when they go into the field is to deliver an IEP and to make sure they're meeting all the legal requirements. I noticed in your course sequence, there's 2 assignments related to that. Could you speak to a little bit, like what are those formal assignments that they're doing? Is it just connected to delivering IEPs? Is it through that feedback from their coaches out there in the field? What does that look like to ensure they have the support to deliver legally defensible IEPs?
Yeah, so like I said, because this is an intern program, it's a little bit different. So the online assignments towards IEPs cover the legal aspect, writing aspect of it, but actually performing the IEPs and writing actual IEPs happens in their field work. So those are the 12 observations that they do. They're actually hands-on helping writing the IEPs, performing the IEPs, following through. But the assignments in the coursework is the legal aspect of it and the follow through with that, making sure that the designing of the IEPs is correct. And then the field work is them actually implementing it. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you for that clarification. I appreciate the 2-prong approach to developing it and then delivering it. So
yes, exactly.
And then when they are doing it in the field work, it's all under a mentor. So they have the support with somebody that knows this in and out versus them just
exactly. Each observation is observed by a mentor. They're not just out
On
performing IEPs on their own until they graduate within 2 years. Each time they have a mentor with them.
That's excellent to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Any other further comments, questions from anyone? All right. Seeing none, this is an action item, I should say. Or is there a motion? Motion you will make.
Good job.
Is there a motion? You have to. Member Sykes, you have to.
I moved to make a motion. Now I have to say the whole thing right. For King Chavez accreditation. To approve King Chavez.
Okay, great. Yeah, so just to be sure we have all the wording. So the King Chavez Neighborhood of Schools Education Specialist, Mild to Moderate Support Needs Intern Pathway Program. Yeah, that is the mouthful. Okay, there was the motion. There was a second. Second, I do. Second by member. Second member Taylor did. We won't do this all day, I promise. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Yay, thank you everyone.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank
Great. Happy Halloween.
you.
We want to also acknowledge that another committee member has shown up. Michael Hillis is here. I make right here. All right, moving on to the next one. The third proposal is for Alder Graduate School of Education's California Teachers of English Learners. Joining us today, once again from Alder Graduate School of Education to answer any questions you may have about the program are Dr. Yvonne Rosales Montes, Multilingual Education Faculty Lead, and Dr. Nate Monley, Senior Director of New Program Development and Accreditation. Are there any recusals? All right, seeing none, with institutional representatives wish to mention some comment about your program.
Oh, we can't hear.
Hold on just a minute, Doctor. We're trying to get the audio back up on our end.
You think it's our issue, Michelle?
No, I think it's just a delay.
Oh, it's just a delay in getting.
Can you hear us? Okay.
Okay, great. Cannot hear you.
Still can't hear you, Dr. Montes.
I wonder, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We can hear you.
Okay, it might be something on Dr. Montes's end then.
Looks like he's trying to fix it right now.
Okay. How about now, Dr. Montez?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can. Great.
Yes.
Yeah, the floor is yours.
Oh, wonderful. First off, good morning. Thank you we're so grateful to be here, members of the committee, staff, and community joining us virtually. We're super excited to bring forth our CTEL program for your consideration, and it really represents over a year's work in collaboration with our partners, our community partners, and to bring this forward. And I just want to start off by saying, as a student who grew up identified as a English learner in our California public schools, it's a privilege and honor to bring forth a program that is rooted in an asset-based orientation, inviting our pre-service teachers to engage in their linguistic consciousness, ultimately to support our efforts in serving our over 1 million students identified as English learners within the state of California. I want to take a moment to thank the committee staff, in particular Miranda, for being an instrumental point of contact throughout this process. And I yield.
Thank you, Dr. Montez. Dr. Mondley, any comment you wish to offer?
Just thank you, as Yvonne said, to Miranda and to all the CCTC staff and liaisons who helped us along the way with lots and lots of questions. And we are extremely proud to have crafted this program with our community partners and also with our faculty. And as someone who's teaching some of the courses that have been really, transformed by this approach, I can say it's really powerful. We had a meeting with our mentor teachers last week, and shared with them how we're working on language demands, and led to such a rich conversation. We saw feedback afterwards about how not just our candidates, our residents, but our mentors and cooperating teachers appreciate and are being impacted by the adjustments for language that we've made to our program.
Thank you, Dr. Mondley. Any public comment?
No public comments.
Thank you, Ms. Bernardo. Are there any questions or comments from the committee members? All right, seeing none, this is an action item. Is there a motion to approve the California Teachers of English Learners Program for Alder Graduate School of Education?
I make a motion to approve the California Teachers of English Learners for Alder Graduate School of Education.
Thank you. So moved by Member Leggett. Is there a second? Second by Member Jones. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you for joining us today. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day. Next proposal is from Summit Preparatory Charter High School, who is adding an intern pathway to an existing multiple single-subject credential. Joining us today, once again, from Summit Preparatory Charter High School to answer any questions you may have about the program, are Pamela Lampe, Executive Director of the Marshall Teacher Residency and Unit Head of Educator Preparation Programs, and Greg Honigfar, Executive Director of Marshall Street Initiatives. Are there any recusals on the item?
So you have to say something. Apparently the staff told them to come a little bit later after the 11:15 time. So the institution is not here. So I think we can hold this one and go to our item 8, whatever, item 7, whatever the next item is.
Well, we're on item 6, right?
Yeah, the next item, whatever number that is.
Okay.
Yes.
We're gonna move on to item 6. We're gonna return the remainder of these later this morning, as well as the one that I just introduced. So we are now on to item 6. Item 6 is the report of program status changes. The item is divided into 2 parts. Part 1 includes items for action by the COA, which include request to withdraw, request to reactivate inactive programs, and or request to add a new content area to an existing program. Part 2 provides information on programs that have transitioned to revised program standards and programs that have elected to change to an inactive status. These items are for notification only and require no action by the COA. Part 1, sections A, B, and C. Section A, program withdrawals. Section A is an action item. There are 8 program sponsors withdrawing 8 programs. So this is an action item. Are there any recusals? But I'm looking to see where the. Yes, okay, so I'm just. Got it.
Starting there.
Got it. Yeah. My connection was getting there, sorry. There we go. Okay, so we can all see, I can read through them. We have California Baptist University Preliminary Administrative Services, effective October 31, 2024. California State Bakersfield, added authorization in special education, autism spectrum disorders, effective November 1st, 2024. California State University East Bay, education specialist, early childhood special education, added authorization, effective October 31st, 2024. California State University Northridge, education specialist, added authorization in special education, emotional disturbance, effective October 31st, 2024. Dominican University of California, education specialist, added authorization in special education, early childhood special education, effective October 31st, 2024. And San Diego State University.
There's one more after San Diego.
Yes, I see that.
Okay.
San Diego State University, added authorization in special education, autism spectrum disorders, effective October 31st, 2024. And lastly, San Jose State University, preliminary administrative services credential with intern, effective November 1st, 2024.
And if you have to use the insert version of this, and there's a Loma Linda University PPS counseling effective December 1st.
Yeah. Okay, any recusals on any of those? All right, seeing none, is public comment. Anyone member of the public wish to offer comments?
There are no public comment.
Thank you. Committee members, do you have any questions or comments you wish to add in the discussion? All right, seeing none. Is there a motion to approve the withdrawal requests from the institutions and programs listed in the agenda item that I just read?
I move that the committee approve the withdrawal requests listed in item 6.
So moved by member Taylor. Is there a second? Second by member Hillis. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries. Ms. Hickey?
I just want to acknowledge Michelle Bernardo on this. So a lot of these programs that just withdraw, they were inactive for a number of years. And just the staff work of making sure that, as you know, our policy is you can only be inactive for 5 years. So Michelle does a really good job of following up the institution to find out, okay, what's happening with this inactive program. So just acknowledgement. Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah, here. Thank you. Moving on to item B. Here, professional preparation programs requesting reactivation. There's one program requesting to reactivate one program at this time. The University of Southern California, multiple and single subject intern pathway. We have representatives from University of Southern California. If you wish to have any questions about the program, I'm looking to see, are they online yet joining us? They are. Okay. We have Dr. Kathy Krisha, Director of Accreditation and Credentialing, and Dr. Fred Frecking, Professor of Clinical Education and Faculty Chair of the MAT program. Are there any recusals on this item? All right, seeing none.
Is Kathy coming?
We're trying to get her over, but we're waiting for her to accept it.
You couldn't open that either? A couple people couldn't open it, huh? I'll tell you what. So for some reason, the link didn't work. It worked for me, so I thought it worked. Okay. So let me send it to everybody and we'll have to get it posted. Just give us 1 minute. I sent it to Patrick yesterday because he emailed. I apologize for that. I don't know why it wasn't. Let's see.
It's asking for like a Microsoft sign in.
Yeah, is it like a SharePoint or something?
So much to the file type.
I have it in mind.
You have it in yours?
Yeah, I've got it.
And
Hello.
Hi, Kathy.
Happy to see you.
Did it not open
Hello,
for
Dr.
anybody?
Frecking, good to see you as well. Thanks for joining us. We're dealing with a little bit of administrative right now, just getting some information shared with the rest of the committee. So it'll just be a few minutes.
No
You
worries.
need it also?
I was trying to go through, but it wouldn't let me.
Apparently, the dean's letter would not open for the majority of people. So hopefully people are getting it.
And now mine will open. So maybe be sent to me. I had it open, now it's shifted.
I don't know what the glitch is.
The dean on, maybe we just have him or her audio version.
That's a good idea. Ask the dean to, or ask one of the representatives. to explain.
Did you want to mention anything about the reactivation process?
Yeah, so just a note, because reactivations don't happen very often. The process in the accreditation handbook is very broad. It just the request has to come from the dean or the director of teacher education, telling us exactly what program they want to reactivate, why it went inactive, and what has changed since then, and what they have planned for the revised version of because sometimes it's a completely different program. Sometimes it's the same program. Maybe they just are replacing faculty members who left, or what was the issue that made it go inactive. That kind of drives what we ask for from the institution in terms of what we need to see. So in this particular case, we needed, some things have changed over time. So we needed to find out, exactly a new set of preconditions, and whether or not that program that was approved, because it's still on the books as approved, is going to be any different, and in what ways is it different from the approved program. So it's sort of a process that is dependent upon the context of what's happening. So that's where we left off. So the information you have is from the institution, and hopefully that'll.
Okay. Any committee, if you had a chance to read the letter that's been forwarded to you?
Did everybody get it? Okay. I apologize for that.
Okay, no worries. Okay, with the institution wish to make any comment about the reactivation request?
Yeah, so I'm Dr. Fred Frecking. I learned to be a teacher as an intern. And so I think it's an important pathway that we need to add back to our program to really increase the diversity of our candidates. And I think the biggest shift has been that the districts have asked us to reactivate our intern program. And so I think to increase diversity, to bring in more science candidates for our partner school district, LA Unified, I think that's why we moved in this direction. It worked for me many years ago when I was a teacher, and I think other candidates can take advantage of our amazing program by not having to pay full tuition without having a job. So I think the intern pathway is going to bring in another group of students that will meet the needs of the students that they'll be teaching in our partner schools.
Thank you. Dr. Cracia, any comment you wish to offer?
Yeah, just, from the credentialing aspect, I get a lot of requests for from school districts, as well as from candidates. Do you have an intern program? And our program is, comparatively highly priced. And so it's really important for us to provide an avenue for people who otherwise would not be able to do so. So that's been a really important thing. And then just thinking over, the course of time and programmatically, when the intern program was first around, we had a different type of a program. We've, since really revised the program, we fully integrated everything. And so it became necessary to retool the way we supported the interns in terms of how we did our staffing. So we've made a lot of those changes. We've had a lot of great support from our dean. As you can see, we've hired quite a few bodies. I mean, when I first started, I was a party of one, and now I have 6 people. So you can see it's been quite a change. So we really feel that this is a valuable pathway, and our dean is fully in support of it. And we are really excited to try and get it back and running, as are our district partners are.
Thank you, Dr. Cracia. I'm calling you Dr. Cracia in a formal setting, but Kathy, we miss you. I should offer Any opportunity for public comment? Any comments?
No public comment.
Thank you. Any committee members have any questions regarding the program?
Just a comment, thank you Amy, for adding this in and making your program more accessible to people who otherwise wouldn't be able to afford to get a credential in your program.
Thank you for the comment. Anyone else wish to offer a comment or a question? I'm sorry, Alice.
Yeah, I again just want to thank you for your submission here. I know sometimes intern pathways can get a bad rap up and down the state. So seeing such a robust program from a university and seeing the importance of it, I think is really great for the whole field.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comment or question? All right, seeing none, this is an action item. Is there a motion? Member Jones.
Keeping my glasses on. I move that we approve the reactivation of the intern pathway at USC.
Okay, so moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Member Taylor. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, Dr. Frecking and Dr. Krisha. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Miss you guys.
Yeah, us too. Best of luck moving forward. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. C, adding a new content area to an existing program. And there are two institutions requesting to add a new content area to their existing programs. First is California State University Stanislaus, single subject agriculture. And I believe we have representatives from CSU Stanislaus. They have any questions you may have about the program. We have Dr. Derek R. Riddle, coordinator of the single subject credential program, and Dr. Sofia Brizuela Obando, agriculture program faculty. Did I get that right? Okay, thank you.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, thanks. Are there any recusals on the item? All right. Does the institution wish to offer any comment about your program?
No, just that we're thankful for Jake Schuler for his advice and supporting us in building the program. And most of our students right now will have to go to Fresno to do a program like this. And we're really the heart of agricultural center, right, in California. And so to have Dr. Brizuela Obanda just joining us in the past 2 years as an ag ed specialist is really, really helpful for our program to be able to offer this program at this time.
Great. Thank you so much. Dr. Brizuela or Obando, do you wish to offer any comment?
I first of all want to thank you all for this opportunity, for being here and taking us into account. I also want to thank Dr. Riddle for all his support. He actually made a lot. And I want to thank again, I know he just did it, but Jake Schiller was a really good person to us, explaining a lot of the process. So I just want to co on this. And I just want to say that the majority of our students that are wanting this pathway, they are minorities, they are Latino, they're Hispanic. So they actually want to do the change because of the type of population that we have in this area. So when they go to Fresno or Chico, I think that they see a difference on the program that we want to bring here. So that's kind of what our idea. And again, thank you for hearing us.
Of course, thank you for your comments. Are there any, any committee members have any questions about the program? Seeing none, any public comment?
Public comment, Paul.
Member Taylor.
Sorry, not public, but I would like to comment publicly.
Of course.
Thank colleagues at Stanislaus for doing this. Agriculture is so important to the economy of California, and there are a very limited number of ag specialist programs throughout the state. And anywhere where we're limited in the number of programs in any content area throughout the state, it is so important for institutions to bring forth new programs, and ag has been limited, and access to ag specialist programs is very challenging for those that want to do it. So I really commend Stanislaus for stepping up and providing a program that is sorely needed. Thank you.
And your strategic location makes it perfect for that. And going through the process of submitting the request and developing a program takes a lot of work, as you know. And so it's appreciated that you're recognizing the need in the area and fulfilling that for the students. So thank you. Any further comment or question? All right, seeing none, this is an action item. Would anyone like to make a motion? Member House.
I move to approve the addition of the single subject agriculture for Cal State University Stanislaus.
So move. Is there a second? Second by Member Taylor. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Congratulations to you both, and thanks for joining us. Good luck moving forward.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we're moving on to California State University, San Bernardino, single subject in theater. There are representatives from CSU San Bernardino to join us. They're joining us for any questions you may have about the program. Dr. Marita L. Mahoney, Special Assistant to the Dean and Director of the Office of Assessment and Accreditation, and Dr. Becky Sumbera, Assistant Dean and Faculty in the Single Subject Credential area. Are there any recusals? Seeing none, would the institution wish to make any comments about this?
I don't think she's speaking.
Yes, we.
You're muted, Becky.
I'd like to thank
There we go.
the committee for considering our credential program in theater. Special thanks to Dr. Mahoney and Jake Schuler for guiding us and for the last 2.5 years to make sure we have this program in a good fashion. And special thanks to the theater department here at CSU San Bernardino for all their support and guidance in creating pathways for the students as our region needs the theater credential.
Great, thank you. Any other comment from the institution? Dr. Mahoney, wish you offer a comment?
Good morning, everyone. Happy Halloween. I would just like to also echo Dr. Simbera's comments, thanking Jake Schuler. He was instrumental in guiding us through this process, and our theater department. The grain of sand for this program came from our theater department and our Bachelor's of Arts in Theater students. So this is an in-house buildup that we are meeting the needs of our students in the local area. So thank you.
And it's a relatively new program, single subject credentials in theater throughout the state. So congratulations for moving this forward. And any public comment?
No public comment.
Thank you. Any member of the committee wish to offer a comment or question? Seeing none, this is an action item. Is there a motion? Member Sykes.
A motion to approve the single subject theater from California State University, San Bernardino.
So moved. Is there a second? Second by Member Hillis. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
With no drama.
What's that?
With no drama.
With no drama. For the record, that was Member Taylor. Thank you.
Jazz hands. Thank you.
Thank you and have happy Halloween.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, you are no longer allowed to speak, Member Taylor. We're going to have it. I pulled the mic, but we can't do that.
I have a mute button here.
All right, we're now on to part two. Part two is sections D and E. For notification purposes only, no action is required. Section D are programs transitioning. There are no requests for programs to transition at this time. Section E, programs moving to inactive status. This is an information item. There are 2 institutions requesting to move 3 programs to inactive status. The first is California State University Chico, preliminary single subject in business, home economics, industrial technology, effective January 1st, 2025. And the other institution is Toro University, California, preliminary administrative services with intern, effective November 10th, 2024. and preliminary education specialist, extensive support needs with intern, effective November 10, 2024. And a note is Toro University of California will be closing its Graduate School of Education the coming year, and these requests are in preparation for that anticipated event. We're now moving on to item 7. Item 7 is discussions of institutions not in compliance with accreditation timeline. Ms. Bernard, will you please introduce the item?
Okay. We actually don't have any one to report for this item, but I do want to make just 2 announcements. We had 2 deadlines for institutions since the last meeting. One was for the accreditation data system. The data was due August 31st, and since then received all the submissions, and staff is just following up with the institutions to make sure that we have everything and everything is complete. And then the second deadline was for the literacy certification documentation that was due October 4th. And we've had all of the submissions in, except for the few, I think there's about 20 of them that had asked for extensions that were granted until November 15th. So staff is currently working out the process to get those certification process in place. We just finished reviewing the intake of those submissions.
Okay.
Yes.
We have a question.
Those literacy reviews are particularly extensive. Is there scope for additional extensions on that for smaller institutions working their way through those?
Yeah, they can contact us if they haven't already, but I think we've accounted for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah,
Everyone
has requested.
should have submitted something unless they requested an extension, which they were pretty much all approved for the extension.
Yeah, I think we've accounted for everybody, but if there are extenuating circumstances, please contact us.
There are a few minor things that we're following up with some institutions as we're reviewing them. Just little things like links, or maybe one section was missing, and so, but we're following up with everyone for those little issues that were.
Just say for the institutions that have requested extensions, it would be, if you think you're not going to make that November 15th deadline, maybe talk to us as soon as possible, because the later that submission comes in, it just potentially pushes your workload into because we have to get everybody certified by June 30th, everyone. And when feedback comes to you, the later your submission comes in, the later you'll receive the feedback, the less time you'll have to address any feedback. So if you think you can't make that November 15th deadline for any reason, let's talk sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you, Ms. Bernardo.
So just one comment about the process. I'm almost wondering if at some point CTC could consider almost creating like a platform to which people submit to. And part of the issue is, and again, I was a chief offender in this because I was doing a lot of it and I don't understand Google Drive the way I should. But it almost seemed like a lot of what we were being initially assessed on was the technological skill of our institution being able to submit with all the links and the bookmarks and whatnot. And it just dawned on me that, boy, if we had like a system, that goes out and then institutions just submit to it, and then there's not the issue of providing access to links and whatnot. I don't want to get costs, which we're all trying to minimize these days, but something to keep in mind.
Yeah, we have had that conversation in the past, and it might be time to revisit that for sure. I think one of the national accrediting bodies used to do that. I think it was maybe before that it was NCATE back in the day, where you had to submit to them, and it was a little clunky, but certainly the technology has changed massively in the last 20 years. So yeah, absolutely, it could be something we revisit in the future for sure. All right.
Okay, great. Thank you, Earl. We're moving on to item 8. Item 8 is the discussion of the 6-month report from California School for the Deaf, Fremont. Consultant William Hattrick will present the item. He is joined by institutional representatives Amy Novotny, Superintendent, Golgi Hong, Director of Instruction, Jake Kovacs, Induction Coordinator, and Jacilia Washington, ASL Interpreter. Does anyone need to recuse himself?
And do we want to make sure we pin the interpreter so that she's always up there?
Yep.
Great.
Great. Okay, looks like we're ready. So Mr. Hattrick, will you please begin?
All right. Good morning, committee members. Item 8 provides an overview of the 6-month progress report submitted by the California School for the Deaf in Fremont. Their site visit was held last February, and the approved status was accreditation with stipulations for their teacher induction program. The full response to efforts undertaken so far for each stipulation is linked in the item, along with a brief summary. Staff will continue to meet with the leadership team from CSD Fremont over the next 6 months to ensure that the stipulations are fully addressed, and then I'll bring back the final report at your April 2025 COA meeting.
Okay. We now invite institutional representatives to briefly comment about the report. Feel free to chime in.
Hello, this is Solgi Hong. I am the Director of Instruction here at California School for the Deaf, and I really appreciate being back here to ensure that we are following through on our efforts to meet the expectations for this accreditation. And I do want to recognize and thank Kate Kovacs and working closely with William to ensure that CSU continues to provide this access for our teachers. And our teachers' comments are very positive and very grateful for this program and being able to clear on site and being the only deaf school in the United States or to have this option for our teachers. So we really appreciate this and look forward to follow through the next time we meet in April.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Hong. Any further comment or questions from anyone on the institution? Wish to comment on the report? All right, seeing none, this is an opportunity for the public to make any comment. Now we'll go review for those who might just be joining the meeting what the process is. As a reminder, if there are members of the public that would like to make a comment, please notify the meeting moderator by submitting a request card by clicking on the raised hand icon if participating through Zoom, or by pressing *9 if participating by phone. And are there any public comments?
No public comments.
No comments. Thank you, Ms. Bernardo. Any questions or comments from committee members? Right, seeing none, this is an action item. Is there a motion to accept the 6-month report from California School for the Deaf, Fremont? Member Taylor.
I move the committee accept the 6-month report for California School for the Deaf, Fremont.
Second, Member Hillis. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations.
Great. Thank you all very much. Thank you so much. You all have a happy Halloween.
You too. We love the costume.
This is my human costume.
Yeah, that's
my human.
That's great. Great. Yeah.
Yes.
Kate is saying thank you all so much. I do appreciate this whole process and making sure we improve as a program as always. And it's good feedback for us to ensure that we do continue to improve for our teachers at CSD.
Thank you. That feedback is good for us too, and for everybody who works within the department here to make sure that we are meeting your needs. So thank you. Have a great day.
Great. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye. Now, item 9. Item 9 is a report of the Accreditation Revisit Team for Monterey County Office of Education. Dr. Clara Colombini will introduce the item. Joining her are institutional representatives Marmalina Malazzo, Director of Leadership in School Systems, and Dr. Karen Lewis, Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services. Does anyone need to recuse himself? I see none. Dr. Sarah Solari Colombini, will you please begin?
Thank you. Good morning. So I am happy to bring you the report on the revisit to Monterey County Office of Education this morning. Before I begin, I would like to thank the staff at Monterey County Office of Education for their hospitality. It has been over 3 years since I've conducted a site visit in person. So we did have the opportunity to go in person to Monterey County Office of Education and conduct interviews, the whole team, basically interviews and speak with people. And so this was really powerful, actually, and important, I think, to this revisit. So we also did have some Zoom interviews because they cover like a 3,500 area. So we were there in person, had quite a few interviews in person. And also had some people Zoom in just because of the geographic proximity. So things like body language that cue you as an interviewer to probe further or encourage an interviewee to respond. Lost when you kind of conduct interviews via technology, as I'm sure you all know this. So and troubleshooting various issues that arise during a site visit is much easier when you're in person. So it's really with a high level of confidence that I bring you the results in this report, and the team really felt that way as well. So with that, I want you to know that over the course of this past year, staff Monterey County Office of Education has come before the COA updates on their progress towards meeting stipulations. And the reports that were provided contained really an accurate reflection of where they were in their process. I say this because it is important, and you should know that they were moving slowly, as you saw, with intention and purpose. It's clear to me now. At the time, it was, I have to admit, it was a little painful for me because, sorry, but we saw templates, we saw, and we were like, what's happening, right? And so, but it's clear now. And so, they took the time to carefully gather evidence in multiple ways from their constituents. We saw this in the external evaluation that the report that was initially shared at the January COA meeting. In addition to that external evaluator, they had their advisory board, the EPAC, they refer to it as. They gathered information from their constituents, the candidates, the mentors, really make changes. And so there is a clearly defined mission and vision that ensures there's a consistency within and across the programs now. All the coaches and mentors were notified that they would need to reapply for their positions, and they did. And we heard resoundingly, I think the common question that was asked is, what changed? And the first response from candidates that were second-year candidates and from the mentors was everything. And so, and then they went on to kind of explain what it was. Mentors who were interviewed and reapplied said, that it used to be that people were trying to find mentors, trying to, would you please be a mentor? Would you please be? And now it's really an honor to be a mentor. And so, and some of the mentors commented that, changes needed to be made, and that the mentors who are no longer with them, or coaches who are no longer with them, maybe it wasn't a good fit now for them. And so these changes needed to happen. That's what one of the comments was. They needed to happen. So the rehiring process was obviously rigorous, and that was evidenced in the interviews. It's with pleasure and confidence that I bring you this report today, and hopefully you can see, you saw in the report as you read it, hopefully we captured some of that with the comments and the quotes that were included in there. So I do echo the sentiments of the constituents who were interviewed, and it does. I was there. I saw it. It seems everything has changed. So they have 2 new leaders who seem to be in the right seat on the bus. So Good. So, then let's see what else. I went off the cuff here. So, I think, it's really obvious when you see that there were 56 stipulations and now the team has found that 9, we've asked that 9 be removed and that 9 remain. And the 9 that remain, there was a heavy lift here. The 9 that remain really are due to timing, okay? The site visit took place at the beginning of October. This 9 stipulations that remain, they remain because these are things that they put systems in place that things are going to happen at the mid-year and at the end of the year, right? We're going to evaluate how mentors and how coaches are interacting through ILP or IIPs with their candidates. And we're having mid-year checkpoints, we're having end-of-the-year checkpoints. There's this really, there is this continuous improvement occurring, but there are these checkpoints that we're not at mid-year, we're not at end of the year. So that's why these 9 stipulations remain. And so that's why the team is recommending that we have a mid-year report back to the COA so that you can see how's it going, what's going on. And then, of course, an end of the year report. And the recommendation from the team, of course, because there's a maintaining of 9 stipulations, is accreditation with stipulations. There are 9 stipulations. So we have institutional representatives with us. We also have our team lead. Is our team lead with us or not? Does Amanda Baird, did she join us? No, that's okay. Okay. Is Amanda Baird in the there? Move her over. Oh, great. So she is in the audience as well. So we'll bring her in. She might also have some things to add to this as well. So, but I can't just say enough how rich it was of an experience to be there in person. So, and it's been a long time since we've done in-person visits, and yes, what a difference to hear from the people.
Great, thank you, Dr. Salai-Galambini. Appreciate the detailed comments. And we do have Amanda Baird. You're with us now. We see you there.
Yeah.
And before we do that, just want to call the committee's attention on the report. If you look on page 5, is when actually there's a reference to the specific stipulations that remain under overall recommendation. And then from that point forward through the rest of the report, you will see what the preconditions, stipulations, and so forth, and what the actions are at this. So there's more detailed information there if you want to reference a specific stipulation. It's all laid out there. All right, Ms. Baird, would you like to make any comment?
Sure. Thank you for having me today. I would just like to echo what Sarah just shared. I have been working with the institution on common standards and program standards. So we've been with them for around 3 years now. And I would say that this visit was like visiting a whole new institution. MCOE has made significant changes to their staffing, their policies, all the systems they have in place. And throughout the process, they were very intentional about assessing the needs based on feedback to be able to implement standards aligned programs. So our team was confident about all the stipulations that we removed, and just saying that because of the timing of the visit, that we had confidence that in the next few months, when you receive the upcoming reports, that you would see that based off of things like mentor feedback and things that we're just waiting for those things to be in place for a little bit longer, that you would see the full change to hopefully be able to remove those stipulations as well.
Great, thank you for your comments. Would the representatives from Monterey County Office of Ed, welcome, by the way, good to see you both again. Would wish to have any comment?
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here with you today. We appreciate it. We recognize that this morning is really an opportunity for the site visitation team to present their report and their recommendations. And we do appreciate an opportunity just to share a few words with you. I want to start just by thanking our site visitation team. As Sarah mentioned, we had an extensive team with us on the ground in Monterey, and we recognize that that means that they were away from their family. They were away from their jobs, their to-do lists that were piling up for them back at home, and really spent a lot of quality time with us. I think that in person, time and that visit was very important. It really allowed us to dig deep and really, kind of pull things apart and, aggregate and disaggregate and, really listen to people and get a lot of people from across our county engaged and involved in as a part of this process. So we want to say thank you. I also want to say thank you to our education community, to our teachers, to our administrators, to our program advisors and folks who took the time out of their day to be a part of this process. And they did so, with joy and, just appreciation. And that for us just meant so much. And so I want to extend our thanks to them as well. And then the one thing I want to share is Sarah mentioned that from the very beginning, we really looked at this as an opportunity to completely redesign. We didn't want to go through and just check off stipulations. We really wanted to bring people together. We wanted to do the real work of continuous improvement. And so we started by bringing people together. We started by listening, really working toward that theory of improvement and trying to figure out how best we might be able to implement those iterative cycles of change that were needed. So you saw many of those iterations along the way, which I assume at times felt messy, but beautifully messy, I hope, because it's part of that process of really engaging in the work. So we're excited and we're thankful for the report that's being presented today. And I'll let Dr. Milazzo review the as well.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much and happy Halloween, everyone. Thanks for having us. One of our strengths as our county is really our relationships, and we were just excited to take those relationships and to really build some systems and to be able to build some more avenues for that feedback and support. And as Dr. Lewis mentioned, it was a really lovely process through the spring to really do a lot of listening and to do all of that building. And so we look forward to sharing with you during the mid-year our report based on that continuous improvement of our systems and our progress monitoring. So you'll be seeing some progress monitoring based on our training, support, feedback, evaluation of our mentors and our coaches towards the assessment of mastery for the standards for our candidates. And just as we continue to iterate on our theory of improvement. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Great, thank you for your comments. Are there any public comment?
Yes. We have Katie Bassler.
Feel free to come to the table and there.
Morning. My name is Katie Bassler. I'm the president of the Certificated Staff Union in the Salinas Union High School District. This topic has been heavy on my heart for several years. I've been in the district since 1997, and I've worked with some of the most stellar administrators in the district. But in the most recent years, I have seen such poorly prepared administrators that have impacted students and staff. I appreciate the work that MCOE has done. But I continue to hear from candidates how the coaches are not relevant to the current environment in which they work. And I want to emphasize that because the mentors and the coaches still are part of the stipulations. I have 2 sites right now where there are candidates in the program who don't understand ed code, who don't understand some of the basic functions of supporting staff who can then support students. They have certified so many of our administrators, and our schools are struggling. Our district is struggling. And I look forward to this mid-year review. I have been watching the meetings, but I wanted you to hear from someone besides Steve McDougall that our staff, our certificated staff, is struggling with the administrators that are not being prepared through this program. But we will be watching optimistically with this mid-year review, because it's the only thing that I think is going to turn these programs around. Thank you.
For your comment. Ms. Bernardo, are there any other public comments?
Yes, we have Steve McDougall.
McDougall? Welcome to the table. Hey, good morning. Thank you.
Steve McDougall, a member of the Salinas Valley Federation of Teachers, President Emeritus, perhaps. But also a leader with CFT, a union of educators and classified professionals throughout the state. And I chair the K-12 division, local CFT. Really, if you think about it, the work that the staff at MCOE has done really didn't start until around the holidays, less than a year ago. That's when they really rolled up their sleeves and kind of pulled up anchor and build a whole nother thing while floating at the same time because there are folks in the program. And 47 stipulations in essentially 10 months is actually impressive. Yeah, there's still work to be done because of how far astray things had gone, without some supervision at the executive level and communication. But that has all changed. That's clear. Again, I'm just going to echo, going to keep watching, going to see how things are going at the check-ins. I am optimistic that safe harbor will be achieved with no more stipulations the coming year. But know that Monterey County has some of the most significant achievement gap of all the students in the state, and have administrators that are trying to support staff, to support students to achieve, who are struggling because of, a lack of basic skills, ethics, work ethic, an imbalance between life and work, not in a good way. I don't mean like hardworking, I mean just the opposite. Hopefully, with the culture that's changed, as new folks come into the profession with their clear credential, as they come in, hopefully that'll create a culture of spreading those good acts in the profession on those that got through previously that weren't well prepared. So stay tuned. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Mr. McDougall. Ms. Bernardo, any further comment?
No further comments.
Okay, thank you. This is an opportunity now for us as a committee to ask any questions or offer any comment. Mr. Taylor.
First question for Dr. Colombini. Why are we not looking at major stipulations, or why are we just moving to stipulations? Because 9 still seems like a significant number to me.
That you certainly, this is the committee's decision, Committee on Accreditation decision. You can certainly move that to major stipulation. I just felt that the significant shift from 56 to 9 was a major move, but that this is a Committee on Accreditation decision, and you're within your right to move it from probationary to major. So
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I do want to acknowledge as well this your work on this. I can't imagine being in your position. This is a major undertaking, and thank you.
Yeah.
I in going on the record and saying that I believe 9 to be significant enough in my mind to still require major stipulations. I don't want to understate the progress that has been made, because I do remember that first meeting, and I was seconds away from going to the floor on this and saying, no, we need to withdraw accreditation entirely. This is a disaster, because I do think it was a disaster, and I think going from 56 to 9 is a massive accomplishment, and I don't want anyone to leave this meeting feeling like I am not appreciative of the effort. I am deeply appreciative of the effort that has been put in. And it is a huge accomplishment on your part. You should all be commended for moving from 56 stipulations to 9. Congratulations. That's enormous. Thank you for your work on that, for the teachers and administrators in Monterey County. That's fabulous. Well done. Feedback. Feedback to me is the essence of education. Delivered in the wrong way, it undermines everything we're trying to do. And delivered correctly, supportively, appropriately, it helps people to realize their potential. So there's a stipulation around, I believe, I was a little bleary-eyed when I was reading this late one night. Can you explain the plan to me or strategy around improving feedback and coaching? Because that's one of the stipulations, and it's one that stood out to me as being particularly important. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to speak to the work that you're doing still around that.
Absolutely. We really believe in building the capacity of our coaches and our mentors as well. And so we shifted the focus from simply the coaching and the mentoring, but also building capacity in those that we serve as coaches and mentors. And so this year they've all had another foundational training. Many of them had already had cognitive coaching as a foundation, but we offered it as another foundational training and an advanced training for some of our advanced coaches. And we're offering other trainings available that they can take for free as well. We began with goal setting. So they've been goal setting as coaches and mentors. And during that goal setting process, they've been looking at specific aspects of their coaching and mentoring as they're doing it within the program. And then during each session that we have with our mentors and our coaches, so we have different meetings. Obviously, they're very different for teachers and for administrators. But each one of those meetings, we revisit their goals and we go back through and do the process to actually look at what are the things that they need as coaches, as mentors in order to build that. And then what kinds of things are they trying? So they're also in a system of inquiry. While our teachers are doing inquiry, we as a program are doing inquiry. Our administrators are doing an inquiry cycle, they are as well. So as we're doing the inquiry cycle, they're receiving feedback. They're also receiving feedback within their coaching logs. And so we actually have areas in the logs for feedback. On the IIPs and the ILPs, we have areas where we're putting in comments. So it's a Google document. It's all in one. So we kind of streamlined it to make it that way. But we've added areas of feedback for both. So the coaches and mentors are receiving from that, as well as the regular meetings that we have with them and our one-to-ones. We're also doing a mid-year meeting with them where we are with the coaches and the candidates, doing a check-in at that time and then again at the end of the year. And so it's an iterative process, and like I hope all evaluation processes should be, right? It should be a building of practice and building of capacity. And so we're continuing with that. So that's what our system is at this time.
Fabulous. Thank you very much. Your report, the report mentions, and Dr. Colombini referenced, also a move towards continuous improvement and the building of a continuous improvement plan. That to me is critical in this particular situation. Had that been in place, many of the 56 stipulations would never have come up, right? So I do see that as a critical component moving forwards. It's very encouraging to see that mentioned in the report and to hear Dr. Colombini's positive comments about it. Do you have any comments on your continuous improvement plan, how that's going?
Absolutely. We built a theory of
Just asked you speak up a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Certainly. We built a theory of improvement over the springtime where we really looked at certain aspects of our program with our EPAC, our Educational Preparedness Advisory Committee, and then with the feedback from our coaches, our mentors, our program advisors, and our candidates. And so we've been going back through that process at each meeting. we share some aspect of data. So for this next meeting, it'll be from our beginning of the year survey. And then we continue to work on that. So for each piece we're looking at, so for instance, professional learning opportunities was one of the areas that we wanted to grow. And one of the areas that our candidates had asked for, particularly in the admin program, was around business ethics and law. And so we're adding in those professional learning opportunities and also giving some networking opportunities around that. And so we've been changing the times, we've been changing the options. We do have some asynchronous options for our CAS candidates as well as our teacher candidates this year. So basically, we're trying really hard to make sure that we hear the feedback and that we're able to be responsive to it. But we're continuously improving on those things. And I think the most interesting thing is the way that we're able to get the data more quickly. We've been really utilizing those outside focus groups as that mid-year point, but we've also been able to utilize the outside consultants' voice for our other reports for our end of the year and our beginning of the year. And then looking at our other survey data from the end of the our meeting feedbacks and then our PLO feedbacks, taking all of that data and then being able to get that back to them at each meeting instead of just at different meeting points, and then get the feedback from that. So we're basically making our cycles shorter, which I think was better. So that 4 to 6 weeks period for our inquiry.
That's great, thank you. Also for a county that has a lot of rural outlying areas, changing those meeting times, locations, having those hybrid attendance options are really, really important for getting robust participation. So fabulous, thank you.
And if I could share, when we began this process in November, because really it was early November that we really were heading into a deep dive into continuous improvement, is exactly that reason why it took a little bit of time across November and December. The county is vast, and we do have educators that serve in rural school districts, single school districts that are at the edge of, San Luis Obispo County. We have school districts that have different types of needs. And so we really wanted to make sure that we weren't just coming in and saying, we think this should be fixed, but that we were listening to the community and really based on what they were sharing with us, the feedback that they were sharing, then all of us together saying, here are some change ideas that we believe could, merit like really positive change as we're moving forward. And how as a team do we believe that these ideas might actually come into action? So we really dug deep into those root causes and really looked at what the needs were all the way across the county. And I think that's why that fall part felt like it was a little bit slower, when really truly deep work was happening at that time. It just wasn't the type of work that you could bring forward and show. It was the type that you have to do when you show up with someone and you sit in the room with them and take that time to really listen to them and make sure that their voice is a part of what's happening.
Thank you. Member Jalen, wish to follow up on Co-Chair McKee.
First of all, I want to commend you for the hard work. We've been working together, I think, for over a year and hearing the presentations, and really this report speaks volumes, because I think this is one of the first times that we've seen really the action piece take place. I want to also extend and echo Member Taylor and Dr. Colombini and your hard work behind the scenes. We highly respect your recommendations. I know because you've been in the field, and I love that you said that you went in person, because it is true when you meet people in person, you're seeing authentically the culture, the environment, you're hearing people through their actual voice, they're not muted. And that kind of lifted up the report to another level for me when you said that, because one of my questions was how the constituents and how was that navigated. And then again, my respect to all of you for your hard work. And change is slow, change is messy, and change is hard. And what I saw throughout the report is the constituents in your organization feeling that change. I highlighted the one comment. I think it's a whole new program. Like it's completely evolved. But to Member Taylor's point is now the sustainability, right? And I think that's why these upcoming reports is, okay, great. We're on the right track. Everyone's headed in the right direction. Now, where are we at with that level of sustainability? But you have so much to be proud of. And I have to echo, like, to knock out 45 stipulations is not easy work to be done. So again, thank you for everything that you have in place here. And I just want to encourage you, don't lose the work that you've done. Like, continue to move forward, continue to do what you are, because you are impacting students. Yeah, and that's why we are all here. We want the best for kids, and you guys are making that happen. Don't lose the journey that you're on.
Yeah, absolutely. And doubling down on my earlier comments, honestly, I felt like this was a program that was, it was just a matter of time before we killed it. We drew accreditation. It is impressive, the turnaround.
Thank you, Member Jones.
Yeah, I want to echo a lot of what's been said here. And in my previous times on the COA, I've seen on occasion an institution that had significant issues, and it's very hard to look at basically a judgment. You're doing so many things not right and not give up or not, be discouraged. So I commend you. I wanted to give you an opportunity to maybe say a few words, and you alluded to it earlier. It's difficult to change the way you are doing things. You mentioned not checking boxes. The harder thing is to change a culture. And what I heard is that there's significant culture change that needed to happen. And it sounds like it has happened. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit about the culture change and also how you're going to be vigilant about preserving a positive culture.
Would you like to go first? Or either we both like to talk about it a lot, so
Exactly.
I will say that for us, culture is probably one of our top priorities. Really looking at how, again, this idea, I know I mentioned it already, but bringing people together is what matters most, right? We can't have a culture by ourselves in our team back at the office. And so bringing the community in and really welcoming them and welcoming that voice. And there was a spirit within this of doing this together. There's an excitement and an energy of people feeling like they're proud that they're helping to co-design and, really work through these different steps as we're moving forward. I want to address just briefly Ms. Bassler's comments. I know that it's been really hard for them because they've been working through some very difficult things, and we appreciate and respect their comments. And we had met with them at the very beginning. There were a couple of times where we said, hey, come over, please, be a part of this. And some of the administrators that we were looking for on that list had not come from our program. And we also still know that the feedback that was provided was so critical. Ms. Bassler shared, and she actually took the time, by the way, to spend separate time with me, which I was so thankful for. And some of the recommendations that she shared with me were so relevant and so needed today. And we really did take the time to integrate those elements into our program. We had a couple of trainings that were coming up within the next few months, and both Dr. Milazzo and I called those faculty members and said, hey, we have a need in Monterey County, and here are some of the things that are coming up and that we're seeing. And so that is a part of the culture, right? It's that open door. It's that please come in and share whatever it is, that we're better together, and that if we're really using all of that information collaboratively and really moving forward as a team, there's so much that we can accomplish. And I know Marlena might want to speak to some of the program elements.
Yeah, well, I would say that, again, bringing everyone together in the springtime and having frequent meetings. We met with them in groups, we met individually, and again, getting everybody in as part of that change, I think was a huge part of it. But then even as we were starting, for instance, for our teacher induction program, we thought, we'll have a few of these orientations. We'll have them online, we'll have them in person. what we found is we were orienting over and over again. We'd have 2, 3 a week. And we were going out into our South County areas and, in our small rural districts that, people don't drive to. It's an hour and a half, just from where we're at. And we were going out to, all these different areas. We had online ones. Some of those worked, some of them didn't. Then we opened office hours. And so I think that was part of it. It wasn't that we just changed. It was also that everybody was involved in it and everybody was invited into it in the way that they could be part of it and continue to be so. So we continue to make sure that, as I mentioned with our professional learning opportunities, it's like that with our meetings and with everything else. If someone needs one-to-one assistance, we're right there to do that. We can do it online or we'll go out to their location and do that. And I think especially as we're starting new changes in the program, I think that was really important. Some of the things were things that they were used to, and it was pointing out, hey, these are the things that you're used to seeing. This is just the different format in which you're seeing it, and this is how that works. And sometimes people needed that face to face. So I would say it's really having a lot of boots on the ground right now in order to make that culture shift. And then just really pointing out the impact that they're making, especially for our mentors and our coaches. The impact they're making is huge. And this program is so important for our community, for our teachers and for our administrators. Having the ability to have somebody come out and not just work with them virtually, but to have somebody actually come out from the county office is huge. And that means a lot to us. And I think that means a lot to them as well. And it's wonderful to be able to build something like that together and to then just show them the impact they're having and then to be able to really move forward with that together.
Just from an outsider's perspective, I think the critical thing about culture with this institution is that when they rehired their mentors and coaches, one of the processes that they used for the rehiring was that each person had to write down what their personal view of mission was about education. And they purposely selected those that aligned with the mission and vision of their programs. I am telling you, everybody is in the bus in the right seat and they're all faced in the right direction, traveling in the same direction. No one is going to the left or the right. They're all headed in one direction. The team saw that everyone's moving in this direction. So it's amazing. I just cannot believe. So when you say, oh, how do they have the culture and how are they going to sustain this? I think it's going to work. We're going to see it 6 months in a year. But in the interviews, it was quite clear. Everyone was aware that the mission and vision, we all shared it. It's just incredible. So I can speak to that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Member Bryant.
Well, my colleagues have taken all of my thoughts. Thank you. But I want to commend you because the work that you've done to begin to transform processes and leading that change, that's significant. It's a tremendous amount of thought, energy, and then action in order to make those steps begin to happen. And so then you can start to see the results of that action. And I was thinking with change, it's messy, yes, but it also brings opportunity. And I'm interested in what types of opportunities you're looking forward to seeing, the fruit that you get to pick from the tree that you planted with the educators and students you serve in the near and future.
Have been bubbling up in our team for weeks. So we just had a conversation about this building.
Well, we're really excited that we're able to bring them not just the just-in-time support, but to really to build their capacity in how they're supporting our students across the county. And I think where our team is the most excited really is we're hearing from teachers that they're getting the support that they need. We're hearing from administrators, yes, these workshops are actually the kinds of things that we would like to do. They're excited about the opportunity to give us suggestions to be able to bring the things that they need. And we're also seeing that the fruits, a little bit of it so far, right? Like, oh, I've tried this in my classroom. I'm really excited. My mentor brought this to my attention and this is exciting. But if we can do that at the teacher level, we can really help support our teachers across the county. And we have so many new teachers and we have so many new administrators. If we're really able to bring them what they need at the teacher level, at the administrator level, we support such a vast area, as you mentioned, almost 3,500 square feet of space or square miles of space. It's a lot. 24 school districts, all of our charters, we support charters. We also support San Benito County for administration programs. If we're able to support that here for our new teachers and our administrators are learning how to lead for these specific areas, the impact that we can have as a team is just amazing. And we've really tried to communicate that to our coaches and our mentors and our program advisors and our employers, and just to really help them understand like what we're doing. It's just monumental for students. So we're really excited to see the impact of that.
I'd love to just add, and I appreciate the question. Thank you so much. And also the idea of moving forward, right? Like holding that momentum, like really staying focused and staying in that lane. One of the things that I think I'm most excited about is that for many of our networks throughout the county, our schools and districts are with us for many things all the time, like a lot of a wide variety of different programs. But what we're starting to see is that for the teams that are in the teacher induction program and, you know, our administrator induction program, they're really networking. They're joining together. They're creating new sort of collaborative networks where they're helping and supporting each other. I had a special education teacher come up to me last week and gave me a really big hug and just said, I've never had anyone to collaborate with. I'm by myself because I'm placed at this school, but my program doesn't allow me to have anyone to collaborate with. And I have 3 other people, like there's 4 of us. We're meeting for dinner, we sometimes jump on Zoom, we're sharing challenges and how we get through those challenges. And so one of the opportunities I think we're looking forward to is how do we make that more purposeful and intentional too, right? Like that we think the culture component has started to create that those opportunities, but now how do we systematize that and really make that intentional so that they can have the support that they need, not only from us and from our program formally, but also to feel like they're connected within their community.
That's the sustainability.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry. Member Sykes.
First of all, I just want to really acknowledge like the intentional and hard work that you've done in terms of addressing the stipulations that were there and getting those removed. Like that's massive. I almost feel like you're telling us like a Phoenix from the Flames story. You know, like you are, creating a whole new program from this work. So I want to commend you for that. The question I have for you is in regards to a stipulation that is maintaining the recommendations to maintain the stipulation 5A around site-based supervisors being trained in supervision and going toward the supervisor role. I was wondering if you could kind of talk about, like what are your initial thoughts or plans for looking at that particular point, knowing like how the interrelationship between a site principal and teacher and teacher development, like how key that is, and how when you talk about culture, that could be a real pivotal piece to leverage. So just again, any initial thoughts on that? Interested to hear.
We just had a Saturday workshop on safe and productive work environments. And really it was focused in on how do you build that culture within your teams and within your staff, and what does that look like on a site level before you ever get to a system where you need to do an evaluative support or a frisk, if you will. We really wanted to think in terms of what are all the things that go into that. We've got one coming up on courageous conversations, which is also part of that training that they get every year. We do frisk training and HR training as well. But we're really focused in, particularly this year, it's been a very big request is on how do you build that culture within your staff and within your school in order to really support staff in building your own capacity. And so that's been a major focus for this year.
You.
All right, thank you. Any further comment or questions from the committee? All right, before we do any motion, just offer the orange paper that you have there just as reference for you. So the team recommendation is moving from accreditation with probationary stipulations to accreditation with stipulations with the mid-year and end of year report. And then those stipulations are those 9 that were noted there on page 4. So just I'll be sure, sorry, page 5. So just to make sure that everybody's on the same page, that we have all the information in front of us. And is there a recommendation or motion? Member Taylor.
I move that the Committee on Accreditation, the status of Monterey County Office of Education from accreditation with probationary stipulations to accreditation with major stipulations.
Okay, so the motion on the table is to move with major stipulations, which is within that middle column of the orange paper that we have here. So that is different than team recommendation. So we did asking, is there a second to that motion?
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
On your motion, is that including a mid-year and end-of-year report?
So this has been moved. Is there a second for major stipulation? Member Jones.
I'd like to make a second with a comment.
Sure.
I'd like to second the motion, and I second it based on the very clear guidelines that we have set out for ourselves. But I want to make that motion with the comment that that doesn't diminish in any way the incredible achievements that you've made. So.
Okay, thank you. It's so moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor of the motion to have, instead of probationary stipulations, going to be with major stipulations. That's what's on the table. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, so the motion, we have one opposition, Member Sykes. So we have majority, 8 in favor of major stipulations and 1 nay. So please consider this again. It's not a negative comment at all about the work that's been done, but following along the guidelines that we have before us, it does not mean that next time you submit those reports that you won't move to straight accreditation. So that's something to consider. So it's not going to be that you have yet another column to go through before you reach the approval without accreditation. So, but again, we really do appreciate the work you've been doing. I know it's onerous process, and thank you also, Dr. Clara Calabini, for your work as well. So thank you so much. I propose we take a 5-minute stretch break.
Yes. Thank you.
Please no longer, just so that we have a jam-packed morning here. So thank you so much. See you in 5 minutes. All right, so again, we are at item 10. Item 10 is a discussion of the second quarterly report from Santa Clara County Office of Education. Consultants Dr. Rosemary Wren and Miranda Gutierrez will introduce the item. And joining them today are institutional representatives, Mac Kegelmeyer, Director of EPP, Robin Stone, Coordinator EPP, and Jen Pender. Although Jen is with us. Yes, there you are, Jen, Coordinator of EPP. Does anyone need to introduce themselves? Seeing none, Dr. Wren, will you please begin?
Thank you so much. So this item presents the second quarterly report for Santa Clara County Office of Education. The accreditation site visit was held in February of 2024, and at the March 2024 COA meeting, the committee accepted the team's recommendation of accreditation with stipulations. At the time of the visit, the team found 2 common standards less than fully met, which centered around supervision at clinical practice sites, as well as continuous improvement. The team's findings within the program standards are spread across the 3 education specialist programs and the teacher induction program. Santa Clara County Office of Education presented their first quarterly report at the June COA meeting and is submitting this report today in compliance with the stipulations. And now Miranda will update you with what has taken place since the June meeting.
Thank you, Dr. Wren. So since the June meeting, Santa Clara County has continued to create tools and structures to implement the actions that they identified in that report. Rosemary and I continue to meet monthly with Santa Clara to discuss progress and give them feedback. We both reviewed this report and the actions are summarized, and there's also staff recommendations for next steps. We'll continue to work with Santa Clara as they continue to address stipulations and prepare for their accreditation revisit in March. I will go ahead and turn it over to Mac from Santa Clara County. She's going to highlight and share more detail about the progress they've made and the steps they continue to take to address each stipulation.
Hi, thank you so much for the opportunity to present today. We're excited to share the progress we've made in addressing the stipulations. And we're really focused on 4 key areas, which are the IEP writing preparation, TPA support, and DSP communication and support, and then induction coach supports. So I'm going to start with IEP writing and preparation. We've taken several important steps to improve this process for our candidates in IEP writing, preparation, and implementation. And I'm excited to share some of the changes that we've made. First, we enhanced some of our coursework to place a stronger emphasis on IEP writing and ensuring that our candidates built a stronger foundation. And our surveys that we got back from our candidates that were in these strengthened courses, really positive around feeling that they agree or strongly agree that they are prepared to write IEP goals and that they understand the IEP process. Additionally, we have expanded our IEP symposium. Previously, it was a 2-night symposium, but now there are 4 parts. We have a pre-work video that they do before the first session, and then we have, and they go over, within that, they go over IEP forms, and so they're better prepared for the first day of the symposium. Then with the symposium, there's a focus on organizing and conducting the IEP meetings, and getting some hands-on understanding of what it means. And then a month later, there's a deeper dive into IEP writing and helping candidates solidify their learning over time. And then we have optional drop-in sessions where they can have an opportunity to even delve even deeper into specific issues that they're facing. The survey data showed a marked increase in their candidate confidence in the IEP process from the beginning to the end and writing goals and understanding the forms. And then we just had our first drop-in session. And so they also appreciated that they felt more confident in understanding the skill set in writing an IEP, and that they felt like their instructors really helped guide them and answered all of their questions. And then finally, this year, we've also introduced IEP Quick Bites, which is how everybody gets things these days, quick and easy. And so these are short, actionable, weekly tips designed to support candidates with bite-sized practical tips. These might be things like and it meets them where they are. So it might be a data sheet that might help them with measuring a benchmark. It might be something like reminders about the timelines. And so it's just manageable insights and support for them. We're going to continue to learn how to grow in this area. Obviously, more feedback from our coursework, feedback from the symposium, and then to make sure that our candidates are feeling confident in their ability to write and implement IEPs. And then the other area that I want to highlight is in TPA support. We've made some significant improvements in and efforts for supporting both our coaches, our candidates, and our faculty. For our coaches, we shared the candidate performance data, which although our candidates maintain a high pass rate, it showed a need for, the coach showed a need for additional focus in application and reflection. And so this has been a central focus for our coaching sessions, or coaching professional development. And we've also added additional mandatory TPA training sessions for our coaches. It used to be 4, and now it's monthly. For our faculty, we shared the same data that I mentioned before, but we also included a TPA training elements survey to see where, to assess the confidence that the faculty had in teaching each of those elements that are within the TPA. And the information from this is guiding our future faculty meetings. We showed that they felt very strong in UDL and scaffolding and activating prior knowledge, but areas for growth and will be, as I said, a focus for future faculty meetings are higher thinking skills and planning activities to support goals. For our candidates, we've introduced an interactive TPA planning guide to help keep them on track. And then similar to the IEP Quick Bites, we've added TPA tips and tricks because we like alliteration. And this is, again, to ease their workload and give them actionable advice. And we'll continue to learn from the process. Right now, this is really informed by where they should be in submitting their TPA and where they should be in the process. But we're continuing to get feedback from the candidates, from the coaches, on how we can continue to make sure that this is addressing specifically what they need in the moment, in addition to the support they're getting from their coaches and this planning guide that I mentioned. So our pass rates combined with the feedback from the coaches and the candidates and the faculty surveys will all help continue to inform us and help us prepare our candidates as we would like. And so then our next presenter is Robin Stone, our induction coordinator, and she's now going to discuss the effort that we've made to support our coaches in the induction process.
Thank you, Matt. Good morning to the committee. Good morning to Rosemary and Miranda. And thank you so much to Rosemary and Miranda for all your support of educator preparation programs as we have worked hard to address the stipulations. I'm here today to address or highlight some of the efforts that we have engaged in to improve our support for our coaches in the induction program. And we refer to our mentors as coaches because we believe that mentors should be coaches and should support their candidates from a coaching perspective that supports reflective feedback. So upon assessing the needs of our coaches, we have established a course within Canvas, which is our learning management system. In this course, each of our coaches for induction articulates their own professional growth goals, completes learning modules on powerful speaking styles, engaging in coaching conversations, and engaging in reflective feedback work with their candidates. Additionally, they get to engage in discussions with one another. All of our coaches have a mandatory coaching session with Educator Preparation Program's coaching consultant. This is someone who has previously run induction programs and is deeply knowledgeable and highly capable in coaching. Additionally, our coaches have one-on-one check-in sessions throughout the academic year with a coaching consultant. And I have, as the induction coordinator, have weekly check-in meetings with the coaching consultant to troubleshoot and address any immediate concerns with coaches and also to evaluate feedback from coaches regarding the supports that we are offering to them. Now I'd like to pass the baton to my colleague Jen Pender, coordinator of our educator specialist programs, who will describe some of the steps we've taken to improve communication and collaboration with our district support providers.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for having us. So I'm really excited to present and highlight the work that we've done around our district support providers with the communication and support. We've definitely strengthened communication and collaboration with our DSPs. First, we updated our MOU to clearly outline the roles and responsibilities, not only of the district, but also the DSP, the site administrator, and our roles and responsibilities here at Santa Clara County. We followed this with a detailed email to site administrators to ensure clear expectations and to facilitate the selection of DSPs. Additionally, we've held a DSP orientation where 90% of the participants agreed or strongly agreed that they had a clear understanding of their roles and found the session informative. One participant even remarked that they've been working with EPIC for a while and this was the most informative presentation they've attended regarding DSPs. To further support the DSPs, we've added office hours each month where we will discuss the essential 5 hours of support and provide resources to ensure DSPs have what they need to be successful. We're going to continue collecting data through surveys, one for the intern and one for the DSP. We're going to administer those in January and May. And these surveys will provide valuable insights to further and strengthen and monitor the DSP-intern relationship. So thank you for letting me highlight that. At this time, I'm going to hand it back over to our director, Matt Kegelmeyer, who will wrap up the presentation.
Thanks, Jen. So as we wrap up, I just wanted to state that we're complying with and continuing to comply with all of the standards, and we believe in the value that these standards offer, and our programs are structured to meet them. However, I also want to address a growing concern that could affect the long-term success of our intern candidates and all intern candidates, and that's the overwhelming workload they face. Intern teachers are balancing full-time teaching, lesson planning, professional development, coursework, along with passing the TPA, spending 5 hours each week with their district support providers, meeting with program coaches, and undergoing monthly observations. While each of these elements is meant to offer critical support, together they can be overwhelming, and the goal is to create an environment where teachers feel empowered and ready to stay in the profession. Yet this heavy load may cause, easy burnout. Interns require support that strengthens their development without adding to their stress, and we're wondering if this current structure for interns is truly effective. We believe it's important to refine these requirements to ensure that they are genuinely helpful at leading our new teachers in the profession with confidence, balance, and a sustained vision of the future. Thank you for considering these important insights as we work together for a thriving workforce. Thank you for your time and attention. We appreciate the opportunity to share our progress. We appreciate your guidance as we work together to strengthen our impact. We're excited by our progress and the feedback that we're receiving. Thank you again for all of the support to Rosemary Wren and to Miranda Gutierrez. They've been our guides in this process. We're an entirely new team from the last quarterly report, so it's been really helpful. So thank you so much. And we're committed to ensuring that the solutions that we implement not only meet the standards, but also truly support the growth and well-being of all those that we serve. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for your detailed report and comments. Appreciate it. Opportunity for any members of the public to have any comment.
Okay, no public comments.
Okay. Any questions or comments of committee members? Question I had, so this is a completely new team from the last report.
Yes, it is.
That's remarkable. That really is a great testament to the work that you've done throughout the process there. No comments or questions from committee members, then we'll look for a motion. Anybody wish to entertain a motion? Member Hallis.
I move we accept the second quarterly report from Santa Clara County Office of Education.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Member Leggett. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Right. Motion carries unanimously. So thank you for your ongoing work. We look forward to reading the next quarterly report. So thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. Wren. Thank you, Ms. Gutierrez, Dr. Wren, and go forth and have a great day. We're on item 11. Item 11 is a discussion of the third quarterly report from Alameda County Office of Education. Consultants Dr. Tim Weeks and Hart Boyd will present this item. They are joined by institutional representatives Derek Garchaud, Director of Career Technical Education, Kristen Bijou, Chief of Educator Effectiveness, and Dr. Vince Matthews, Director of Leadership Development. Does anyone need to recuse himself? We have one recusal. Member Sykes. Dr. Weeks, will you please begin?
We have
Is he
everybody.
there? 'Cause
Yeah, I was gonna
there
say,
he
I don't
is.
think we have everybody yet.
It's hard.
1 second.
All right. There's him on the bottom. There we go. Yeah, Dr. Weeks is there.
Great. Okay. Good morning, committee members. Item 11 presents the Alameda County Office of Education's ACOE third quarterly report. ACOE operates a Clear Administrative Services Program, referred to by ACOE as CPAL, or Clear Path for the Advancement in Leadership Program, and a Designated Subjects Career and Technical Education CTE program. As part of the IIA process, ACOE hosted a provisional site visit in December of 2023, and the accreditation site visit report was presented at the COA meeting in its January 2024 meeting. At that meeting, the COA took action to set the accreditation status to accreditation with major stipulations. One of those stipulations requires ACOE to provide quarterly reports. This item presents the third of these reports. The first quarterly report was presented at the May COA meeting, and the second one was at the August meeting. This third quarterly report is the final one leading up to the January 2025 revisit. A link to the site visits team original accreditation report as well as his third quarterly report are linked in the agenda item. On pages 1 and 3 of this item are the 8 stipulations that ACOE is required to address, and this third quarterly report presents the institution's progress in addressing those stipulations since the last report presented in August. At this point, I'd like to take a moment to highlight some of the progress that ACOE has made in addressing those stipulations since the presentation of its second quarterly report. First, ACOE has established a professional advancement training hub, which they've referred to as PATH. This is a division of ACOE that houses both the Clear Administrative Services and the Designated Subject CTE credential program. And this was designed to address some of the institutional level items that were brought up in the stipulations. The PATH has actually facilitated the creation of MOUs with districts and charter schools where the CAS candidates are placed, and has also been responsible for hiring a number of coaches for both the CTE program and the CAS program. And the CAS will also conduct 3 live visits to local schools where it will observe instruction and calibrate its candidate observation tool that will be used by both programs. The CTE program has also established a CTE Review Committee, or CIRC, which is composed of 5 instructional coaches who also serve as working faculty and work on the curriculum and development and program development. And finally, the CASC has recently hired 5 new coaches, and their program director has met with these instructional coaches where he shared the expectations for the coaches as well as outlined the evaluation process. Additional details about these items and all the other items taken to address the stipulations can be found in the third quarterly report linked in this agenda item. It is staff's recommendation that the Committee on Accreditation accept this report from ACOE, and Hart Board and I will continue to work with the institution to provide technical assistance to prepare for the focus revisit in January of 2025. And at this point, I would also like to acknowledge the technical support of consultant Hart Boyd. It's been provided to us throughout this process and has definitely made the process much easier and smoother working forward. And I would also like to commend the unwavering efforts of both Derek and Kristen in their efforts to address these stipulations over the last 10 months. And having worked with them in the year leading up to the site visit, I can say that they definitely made steps toward improvement in the last 10. So I would now like to turn the meeting over to institutional representatives, Christian Bizure, Chief of Educator Effectiveness, Derek Goshaw, Director of Career and Technical Education, and Dr. Vince Matthews, Director of Leadership Development, to briefly comment on and answer any questions you may have about this report.
Well, I'll go first. I'm pleased with the report. I'm pleased with the hard work that we've been doing over at ACOE, the tremendous amount of resources that has gone in, human resources and financial resources, into making sure that we have outstanding programs and that we address all the stipulations that the Committee on Accreditation has raised. And with respect to the CTE program, I'm thrilled that we now have several coaches that are supporting our efforts to provide advisory support to the candidates in our program, both within Alameda County and outside of Alameda County. It's a really great team that we have. As Tim mentioned, we're all involved in the process of teaching courses, of offering coaching services, collaborating on curriculum design, and improving the program. It's exciting, and I know that the candidates and their students are benefactors of the hard work and collegiality that has gone into starting this school year. And I anticipate that things are going to just continue to grow, and that we'll have a great winter and spring terms and be ready for a great new year next year.
Good morning, colleagues. If I could just add one thing, I want to just offer gratitude to you all and to Tim and Hart for patience. We had some gaps in our compliance and our program quality, and we have been working steadily on meeting those, partially by moving from a 2-person operation, meaning my beloved colleague Derek Gorshow and an admin assistant, to like a 32 person operation. So like Tim was saying, we've had an extremely large reinvestment of resources, human and financial, in building out our unit and in being able to support our programs. And hopefully grow some other programs if we're able to achieve clear status. So I want to offer my gratitude for your patience with us, and I hope that we're able to meet all of our stipulations in our upcoming site visit. Dr. Matthews, do you want to share anything?
As Kristen just said, just want to also share my gratitude for the clarity in bringing the program forward. We, at every one of our meetings with the cohort, the candidates, we actually survey them, and we're getting great feedback in regards to their learnings, as well as the program is moving forward. So just want to appreciate the clarity that you've given us in terms of how this program should move forward and what it should look like.
Great, thank you all. Dr. Matthews, is that the sky behind you? Look how blue. Oh, man.
Yes, it is the sky behind me in Santa Clara. I'm learning. Unfortunately, I thought the meeting was supposed to start or at least our time scheduled was 10:45. So I'm learning clear my whole day when we're meeting with you.
Yes. We're just admiring it and kind of jealous, actually, of this of the blue. But yeah, we appreciate your patience as we kind of worked our way through the morning here. Are there any public comments?
No public
All right, no public comments. Any questions or comments from committee members? Seeing none, this is an action item. Is there a motion? Member Jones.
I'll move that we accept the third quarterly report from the Alameda County Office of Education.
So moved. Is there a second? Second by Member Taylor. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. Thank you so much for your work. Thank you, Mr. Gorshow, Ms. Bajur, Dr. Matthews, Mr. Boyd, and of course, Dr. Weeks. Thank you all for your efforts.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. I'll do one more. Okay, we're looking at item 12. It's a discussion of the second quarterly report from Dominican University of California. Consultant Poonam Betty will introduce the item, and she is joined by institutional representatives. We'll see, we have them all here. Dr. Gigi Gochek, Dean at the School of Liberal Arts and Accreditation. Dr. Susan Clapper, Accreditation Liaison Officer, Director of Assessment. Dr. Jennifer Lucko, Education Department Co-Chair. And Dr. Katie Lewis, Education Department Co-Chair. Does anyone need to recuse himself? All right, seeing none. Ms. Betty, will you please begin?
Noting on the screen so we can.
And then, do we have everybody yet? They're just kind of coming in.
I'll slow roll into a start as we. Good still morning. We're almost to the afternoon. Committee members. Dominican University of California, or Dominican, operates 3 preliminary teacher preparation programs. They hosted a site visit back in March. And that accreditation report was subsequently presented to the COA at its May meeting. At that meeting, the COA took action to set the accreditation status to be accreditation with major stipulations. One of the stipulations requires Dominican to present quarterly reports, and this item summarizes the second one. The first link in the item, which is at the top of the first page, will take you directly to the second quarterly report webpage on Dominican's accreditation website. And then the accreditation report from the May COA meeting is also linked on that first page, the item. The stipulations that Dominican is required to address through these quarterly reports and at the revisit that's scheduled for March 2025 are listed across pages 1 to 3 of the item. And then from pages 4 onwards are the actions taken to address stipulations since the first quarterly report, which was presented at the August COA meeting. Staff is recommending that this report be accepted. And I would now like to turn the presentation over to the Dominican institutional representatives on the screen behind me, specifically Katie and Jennifer. They will highlight key points of progress that are noted in the report. And I believe Katie is starting, so the floor is yours.
Thank you, Poonam. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. I was worried about those tech issues earlier, so Glad you can hear me. Good morning. Thank you for taking the time to review our quarterly report closely. We're really excited actually to be here and to report on the good work that we have been doing. As you can see, we have a fabulous support system here on the Zoom call. We have our dean, accreditation manager, and then myself and my co-chair for the department, Jennifer. So that's our initial celebration, which really relates to stipulation 2 in the report. But today I want to highlight with you all some of the exciting changes and things that are going quite well at Dominican related to stipulation 3. And in particular, I wanted to highlight how our improved tracking systems have been going now that they've been implemented for a few months, and some of the expected and unexpected positives from this experience. So first and foremost, I think it would be helpful for us to explicitly state who our support team members are as an umbrella category. When I am referring to support team, I am referring to our school administrators, our supervisors, our mentor teachers, and our support teachers. And so starting with who our support team is, one of the pieces that came out of stipulation 3 was to really improve the ways in which we track the qualifications of support team members, and related to that, the systems in which our support team members are communicating with us and candidates in a smoother way. So the first part of this that has been working really well is we have a support team qualifications system that starts with a survey and ends with a comprehensive log, where we now have this beautiful spreadsheet of qualified supervisors that we can continue working with. And what's really nice about that is through our institutional support from Dean Gochek here and upper administration, we hired 10 new supervisors who were, of course, highly qualified with their clear credentials and experience. And the reason that was significant is because our enrollment has been increasing for the last couple of years. So it made sense that our pool of supervisors would also be increasing. So to organize that system where both were happening at the same time has led to more of a seamless process of interacting with that team. The other exciting piece of that improvement was that our qualified pool of supervisors now includes a handful of alum from Dominican. So we have this nice kind of full circle connection with some folks in the community. The other piece of the tracking system, in addition to tracking the qualifications in this close way and hiring more supervisors, is we have implemented a new system that our supervisors interact with. And so the way that they coordinate with their candidates to give lesson plan feedback and observation feedback is more of a centralized, systematized process. And I've had the pleasure of attending some of our recent supervisor meetings and trainings, and I'm hearing so much positive feedback from our returning supervisors who go, hey, this was a great idea, right? I'm enjoying this. I wish this would happen sooner. So it's just one of those positive things that has come out of this process. And we couldn't have done it, of course, without the strong team that we have in place and then our consultants' guidance throughout that process. I'll comment on one other thing, and then I'll hand things over to my co-chair. One of the challenges about coming to you all today is we were laughing because we have so much we want to share. And yes, it's all in the report. So I'm looking at my timer, and I will, briefly comment on one other item and then hand things over. And it's a tracking systems item as well. The other highlight that you'll see in the report is we have truly smoothed out and centralized the way that we are tracking our intern and permit teachers now, where the permit teachers are handled in a very similar way to the interns, and that we're closely tracking both are not only our support, but the support from their school sites and their support teams on site there. And that new system, again, you'll notice a theme. It's more centralized, it's smoother, everything is working together. And so we're excited to see in our weekly reports from our data manager how those systems are actually working for us and how it improves the way we communicate on our team and follow up with our support team members, and follow up with those interns and permit teachers. So those are our specific kind of tracking system highlights that we wanted to point out to you all today. And then I will hand things over to the co-chair of our department, Dr. Lucko, to talk more about highlights from specifically stipulation 4.
Yes, well, thank you so much for giving us a little bit of time this morning to share some of our success stories and our progress as we're working our way through the stipulations. As Dr. Lewis mentioned, I'm going to highlight a few items about our progress meeting the expectations for stipulation 4. First of all, I wanted to share that we had our first data analysis retreat on October 9th. And moving forward, we're planning to have one data analysis session each semester, so in October and in April, and then ending out the academic year with the workshop to use the information we gain through the data analysis to plan for the upcoming academic year, aligning our fieldwork and our program policies with our TPAs and using the assessment data to make course level improvement. So at our first data analysis session, we focused on 3 areas. The first one was TPA data analysis. And we found that overall, our candidates are performing only slightly below the state level average for passing the TPA on their first attempt. However, one interesting point that we noticed was that candidates who attempt to take the TPAs a second or subsequent time are not being very successful. They're only achieving a 56% pass rate. So based on that information, we decided that we're now going to require candidates who have finished completing all of their coursework at Dominican but have not yet passed the TPAs to enroll in a TPA support course. Currently, we're offering this course as optional for continuing candidates, although it is required for our intern candidates. And moving forward, we're going to require it for all candidates who have not yet passed the TPAs after finishing coursework. And so I just wanted to share that as an example of how we're already in this early stages using this opportunity to analyze TPA data to make program improvements. A second area that we focused on in the workshop was our TPE matrix. And we revisited the matrix to determine assessment points for all the TPEs and the TPE subsections. And we now have all of our faculty have homework to revisit their assignments and their rubrics that we determined were assessment points for the TPEs, and to make sure that the assignments and rubrics are closely aligned with the language in the TPEs. So by the end of the semester, we're going to have an updated TPE matrix with all of our assessment points clearly delineated. And then finally, at the workshop, we focused on revising our surveys. We've rewritten all of our surveys for our mentor and support teachers, our supervisors, our candidates, our alumni, and even our employers. And so moving forward, we have surveys that are also aligned to the TPEs so that we can use this data and integrate it with our other assessment points to make decisions about program improvement and continuous improvement. And then I'll just end by giving you a little bit of a sneak peek into quarterly report 3, where we're planning to focus on stipulation 7, which is looking at how we are making sure our single subject candidates are receiving content-specific pedagogy support. And this is an area that we'll be focusing on gathering evidence to demonstrate our progress in addressing the stipulation. And I think that's sort of an overview of some of our highlights.
Great, thank you, Dr. Lucko and Dr. Lewis. Would anybody else from the institution wish to offer any comment?
I want to express on behalf of the university's senior leadership, we're really proud of the team that's taking over the department and the credential programs and overseeing the stipulations. We've had the pleasure of seeing their progress, and they have full support from the administration. And we also thank Susan Clapper and, of course, our consultant, Poonam. So thank you for having us this morning, or this afternoon now.
Sorry, yes, you were right with morning to begin with. Thank you, Dr. Gochek. Dr. Clapper, any comment you wish to offer? Okay, no pressure.
No, Jennifer summed up the assessment piece pretty good. And as always, we adore Poonam and feel very, very fortunate and grateful that she's our CTC consultant. It's hard work, but we have a lot of laughs as we meet together.
Well, that comment brought a smile on Poonam's face. But yeah, now we adore her as well. Thank you all for your comments. I want to commend you for having the TPA course. That's something that is sorely needed, I think, in many institutions. So the fact that you're offering that first as an option, but then it's going to be a requirement, it sounds like that's really commendable to be doing that. And then also studying through the TPE matrix. Those are so valuable in helping the students succeed within that project. So thank you for doing that. Any member of the public have any comment?
No public comments.
Thank you, Ms. Bernardo. Any member of the committee wish to offer a comment or question? Member Taylor.
I'd like to thank the institution for turning up in numbers here and offering such comprehensive reporting on the progress of your work. You're clearly moving very far, very quickly, and I commend you on your work. Thank you for being so thorough, and thank you for the work that you continue to do.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Any other member? I seeing none. This is an action item. Is there a motion? Member Taylor.
I move that the Committee on Accreditation accept the report from Dominican as the institution continues to address the stipulations leading to the next revisit.
All right, so move. Is there a second? Second by Member Hillis, I saw first. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. Yeah, we're glad to see the progress and looking forward to the next quarterly report as well.
Thank you, and we look forward to it as well. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Dr. Kochek, Dr. Clapper, Dr. Lucko, Dr. Lewis, and Ms. Betty. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you.
We do have one more we need to do before we do any consideration of a longer break. I'm going to pass the gavel over to our colleague, Patrick Keith.
Thank you. So we're going to move on to item number 13, which is a discussion of the 7th year report from the University of California, Riverside. Consultant William Hattrick will present this item, and joining him today are institutional representatives, Ms. Denise Payne, Assistant Director of Teacher Education, Certification, and Accreditation, and Ms. April Shavando, Director of Education and Professional Programs. So we can wait a moment till they join us. Like we have April Shavando here. While we're waiting, does anyone need to recuse themselves? It looks like that's joining us that we see Denise Payne. So it looks like we have everyone here from UC Riverside. So Mr. Hattrick, will you please begin?
Sure. Good afternoon. Item 13 provides an overview of the 7th year report submitted by UC Riverside. Their site visit was held in November of 2023, and they received full accreditation. Staff recommended and the COA approved addressing several issues during this past year related to the district employed supervisors and the multiple single subject and bilingual authorization programs. The full report is linked in the item. The team found inconsistency among the district cooperating teachers, or DCTs, related to initial orientation and training for their new supervisors, and then how the veteran DCTs remain current in effective supervision and program expectations. And that was for the multiple single subject program. So to address those concerns around the DCTs, UC Riverside held its first annual Summer Institute for them, and that included 6 hours of in-person training and 4 additional hours available through the course networking platform. And then they also have direct meetings with the UC Riverside University supervisors. And staff also confirmed this through tracking documentations that the supervisors are receiving the required hours, and it continues to be monitored by the institution on an ongoing basis. Related to the training of the bilingual mentors, or DCTs, there was concern that their ability to provide candidates with guidance and assistance to improve their practice was inconsistent. Over the past year, changes were implemented requiring the coordinator and those mentors to attend professional development training to stay current on best practices, which is tracked through Canvas. Additionally, the coordinator meets annually with the instructors and mentors to provide support and training on any programmatic changes and updates, and that will continue into the future. UC Riverside also held a dual language directors roundtable with school district administrators, leading to the expansion of qualified bilingual mentors. So that's a summary of the actions taken. And again, the full report is linked in the agenda item.
Thank you, Mr. Hattrick. We now invite the institutional representatives to briefly comment about the report. Ms. Payne or Ms. Shavando, would either one of you like to share?
Sure, I'll go ahead and get started. First of all, good afternoon, Committee on Accreditation members, and also thank you to Mr. William Hattrick for your guidance and along the journey. So as Mr. Hattrick mentioned, we have, and you have in front of you as well, a variety of things. We've been very intentional since our last visit back in, gosh, it's almost a year tomorrow that we were here all going through this process. We've been very intentional with moving forward with addressing both of the areas that were met with concerns. We've enhanced our practices in what has been already in place, and then making more direct efforts to ensure that we are all on the same page, that our veteran DCTs as well as our returning and new DCTs are kept abreast of all current items. We hosted a district cooperating summer institute. We call it our Impact, which is influencing mentoring. Oh my gosh, influencing mentoring. What is that thing called? I always it'll come to me in a moment. But we wanted to make an impact for all of our folks. And that involved this past summer, we included some experts in the field. We included veteran and current DCTs, as well as all of our supervisors of teacher education and faculty. So we are excited about that. We've continued to enhance our district cooperating teacher website with all of the resources, and we continue to add to that, as well as most recent as the standard 7, the literacy and certification, and making the awareness for our DCTs in that new area as well. Any questions, comments?
Thank you so much. We'll give Ms. Shavando an opportunity if there's anything additional you would like to share.
Just wanted to thank the committee members and thank Mr. Hattrick for a good accreditation visit and a wonderful review. And as Denise said, we've been working diligently to address the findings in the report.
Thank you so much. And are there any public comments for this item?
No public comments.
Seeing no public comments, are there any questions or comments from our committee members? Seeing none, this is an action item. Do we have a motion? Yes, I'm looking the wrong direction. So yes, Member Alice, I'm not an expectation over there, but thank you.
I move to accept the 7th year report from the University of California, Riverside.
Thank you so much. And then we have a second from Member Taylor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. And motion carries unanimously. Congratulations and thank you for all your hard work in creating that alignment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, question on agenda, are we going to item 14 or back to Summit?
We would go back to the program approval recommendations at this point. Yes, and we could, we've got 4 of those to do, and then, there are 5? 5. Oh, 5, that's right, you're right, thank you. There's 5 of those to do. And then we have the annual report, which that's all entirely as long as, want to talk about that. Staff reports we can do quickly. But so it's up to you as to how you want to move forward here.
Do we want to continue to move forward with that and then we need a break, or are we good moving forward?
Back on cookies while we.
There are plenty of cookies. We can pass a jar of candy around.
Abundant amounts of sugar.
Okay.
Okay, so it looks like we're going to move forward. And just for clarification on the agenda, does that mean we're going to Summit Preparatory?
Yes.
Excellent.
Correct.
So just make sure everyone's on the same page. Our next proposal is from Summit Preparatory Charter High School, who's adding an intern pathway to an existing multiple and single subject credential. Joining us today, once again, from Summit Preparatory Charter High School to answer any questions you may have about the program are Pamela Lamke, Executive Director of the Marshall Teacher Residency and Unit Head of Educator Preparation Programs, Greg Honigbar. I hope I got that correct. The Executive Director of Marshall Street Initiatives. Are there any recusals on this item? So with that, no recusals. We want to thank the institution for your patience this morning with timing. And are there any representatives who would like to say anything about your proposed program?
I would. Thank you so much. I'll be brief because we know you want to get to lunch. I want to thank you, the members of the Committee on Accreditation, for your time today, as well as the CTC staff and reviewers who supported us through the pathway review process. We are now 10 years into operating educator preparation programs at our institution, from teacher induction to teacher residencies. And as you said, we are here today seeking approval for the intern pathway for single subject and multiple subject credentials. The expansion of our educator preparation programs is a reflection of the demand from our partner schools who are seeking affordable educator preparation pathways that develop high-quality, student-centered teachers who reflect the diversity of their schools and persist in the profession. We are seeking accreditation for a single subject and multiple subjects internship program to build on the work of our teacher residency programs and further support the pipeline needs of our partner schools by offering a pathway for candidates who have experience working in schools and are seeking an affordable, high-quality, supportive program. You can find letters of support for this proposed internship program under intern precondition 11. Since the inception of our programs, we have effectively recruited and retained cohorts of more than 50% candidates who identify as people of color annually, with an average of 65% candidates of color over the past 5 years. We have effectively recruited and retained cohorts of more than 40% candidates who identify as male or non-binary, and this past year, more than half of our candidates were Pell Grant recipients. These successes are the result of recruitment strategies, processes, program design, and candidate support systems intentionally designed to recruit and retain candidates of color. Our data also speaks to the quality and effectiveness of our program design in preparing high-quality new teachers. Out of our most recent cohort, 84% of candidates passed the EdTPA on the first submission, exceeding the national pass rate of 72%. Our most recent stakeholder survey data shows that across the board, our candidates, district employed supervisors, school administrators, and alumni are highly satisfied with our program experience and outcomes. We're excited about this opportunity to build on our success while opening a new pathway to further meet the pipeline needs of our existing partner schools. Your approval today will allow us to prepare to launch the first cohort of this program and to integrate it into our existing programs. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for sharing. And Mr. Ponakbar, do you have anything additional you would like to share?
I have nothing to add beyond just very grateful for your time and consideration on this.
So much. And do we have any public comments?
There are no public comments.
Seeing no public comments, do any members of our committee have any questions for the Summit Preparatory Charter High School representatives? All right, seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the multiple subject and single subject intern pathway for Summit Preparatory Charter High School? And we have Member Leggett.
Motion to approve the Summit Preparatory Charter High School multiple subject, single subject intern pathway.
Do we have a second? We have second by Member Bryant. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion carries unanimously. Congratulations as you continue forth. And thank you again for your patience today with the timing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next up are we on Long Beach? Just verifying the order for today. Excellent. So our next proposal is for Long Beach Unified School District's Clear Administrative Services Credential Program. Joining us today from Long Beach Unified School District to answer any questions you may have about the proposed program are Dr. Kelly Ann, Long Beach Unified School District Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, Dr. David Lorden, Long Beach Unified Consultant and District Partner from San Diego State University, and Dr. Michelle Shin, Long Beach Unified Consultant and District Partner from San Diego State University. Do we have any recusals on this item? Seeing none, would the institutional representatives like to say, oh, we only have one person here. We're going to wait 1 minute. My apologies. Thank you.
We're looking for David Lorden. We have a David's iPhone 14. If that's him, can you raise your hand, please?
Yes, that is him.
All right, excellent. Thank you for knowing his iPhone. And we'll give a minute for him to pop in. All right, there he is. There's his phone. Would our institutional representatives now like to say anything about the proposed program?
Yes, first of all, thank you so very much for your time this afternoon. We're really excited about this proposal because it has been years in the making. And so the Long Beach Unified School District, we're seeking to add our Clear Administrative Services Credential program as part of one in our 16 pipeline program offerings. It's designed to continue the mission of developing our equity-driven leaders who are in administrative roles, who will provoke action by insisting gaps in opportunities to learn are eliminated. This 2-year induction program is designed to provide novice administrators with individualized job-embedded support and guidance through a blended model of one-on-one expert coaching, collaborative data study in triad learning walks, rich professional learning opportunities, and the development and implementation of an individualized induction action plan for every participant.
Thank you so much for sharing. Are there any other comments from the institution?
David Lorden here, just excited to have, been a part of the Long Beach work. It's amazing work, and they just have a really solid principal prep program and leadership preparation program. So super excited about this proposal.
Thank you so much. And Dr. Shin, anything additional you'd like to add?
Nothing more than just gratitude for the committee, for the IPR team and their support in helping us to get across the finish line. So thank you all.
Thank you so much for acknowledging them. Do we have any public comments?
No public comments.
All right. Seeing none, do any committee members have any questions for Long Beach Unified School District representatives? This is an action item. Do I have a motion to approve the Clear Administrative Services Credential for Long Beach Unified School District? Motion from Member Jones.
I move that we approve the Clear Administrative Services Credential for Long Beach Unified School District.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Member Hallis? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. And it looks like we are passing unanimously. Congratulations, Long Beach Unified.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your hard work and dedication. All right, we are going to now move on to High's Clear Administrative Services Induction Program. Joining us today from High Tech High to answer any questions you may have about the program are Sarah Barnes-Schulman, the director of the High Tech Teacher.
Hello?
Yes. Oh, There we go. All right. And we also have Nicole Williams, Director of Credentialing for the High Tech High Teacher Center, and Michelle Jaconette, Program Manager for the High Tech High Teacher Center. And it looks like we have one of you here, and we'll just, oh, are you all in the same room?
We are. We're all together. Yes. Thank
That
you.
is awesome. Thank you for making it easy for us letting you in when you're all in the same spot.
We're all here. Thank you.
Welcome. Any recusals on the item? All right. Would the institutional representatives like to say anything about the proposed program? We'll just let the four of you speak about anything you'd like to share.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for having us. Happy Halloween, everyone. We're excited to add a leadership pathway to our programs so that we can grow our own leaders in the high tech high system and throughout San Diego County. And we deeply appreciate the work that the committee's done with us back and forth to make sure that we're ready and that we are matched and making sure that we're following our design principles while also following the state requirements and standards. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. And anything else from your room that you'd like to share? Are you guys all good?
We're good. We're good. Yeah.
Excellent. We appreciate you all coming together. Do we have any public comments?
No public comments.
Seeing no public comments, do we have any members of our committee with any questions for the High Tech High representatives? All right. Do we have a motion then to approve the Clear Administrative Services Induction Program for High Tech High? We have a motion from Member Taylor.
I move that the Committee on Accreditation approve the Clear Administrative Services Credential Program for High Tech High.
Thank you. Do we have a second? A second from Member Jones. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. And congratulations, a unanimous approval. Thank you
Thanks
for
so
your hard
much.
work. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. We are moving along now to California Baptist University's bilingual authorization in Spanish. Joining us today from California Baptist University to answer any questions you may have about the program are Dr. Stacy Meyer, Associate Dean, and Dr. Jin Sil Mock, Associate Professor, and you two are together as well. Thank you so much for doing that. You are all streamlining it for the staff here today. Thank you so much. Do you have any recusals on the item? One from Member Fairley, Co-Chair Fairley. Anyone else? All right. Would the institutional representatives like to say anything about the proposed program?
Yeah, we would like to first thank everybody who was involved in making it a really positive experience for us. We were awarded the grant to write the bilingual authorization program, which was amazing. And we're a Hispanic serving institution, so it's given us an opportunity to better equip our teacher candidates and our in-service teachers in our community as well. So we're really excited to move forward.
Excellent. And Dr. Mock, anything else you'd like to add?
No, just we thank you so much for your consideration, and we're excited to serve our community.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing. And do we have any public comments?
No public comments.
Seeing no public comments, do any committee members have any questions for California Baptist University representatives? We have no questions. So do we have a motion then to approve the bilingual authorization in Spanish for California Baptist University? Member Hillis.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the bilingual authorization Spanish for Cal Baptist University.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Member Leggett? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. All right, congratulations. You unanimously passed. We wish you the absolute best in this new program.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then we have our last proposal now is for San Jose State University to add an intern pathway to the existing approved PK3 Early Childhood Education Specialist Instruction Program. Joining us today, once again, from San Jose University to answer any questions you may have about the program are Dr. Maria Busaro, the PK3 ECE Credential Coordinator, Dr. David Whitenack, the Teacher Education Department Chair, and Dr. Dina Sexton, Director of Field Experience. Do we have any recusals on the items while we wait for everybody to come in? We're just gonna wait a moment. And Dr. Whiteneck, are you expecting the others to join us today?
Maria definitely is. I don't believe Dina will be able to make it. She's now in another meeting.
Okay, well, thank you for your patience today and understanding with our timing this afternoon and this morning. And we'll just wait a minute then for Dr. Fusaro. Oh, looks like they are here now. So would the institutional representatives now like to say anything about the proposed program?
Yes. Hi, Maria Fazaro here. Thank you for the invitation to speak today. I'm very happy to be here to represent San Jose State. Our PK3 program is housed in our teacher education department and offered in collaboration with child and adolescent development and special education departments. We are here to add an intern pathway to our PK3 credential program. We decided to add the pathway at this point because we realized that it would be a really good fit for many candidates, particularly those coming in with lots of preschool or other early childhood teaching experiences or other experiences with children. We designed the pathway to give candidates this opportunity to be an intern for all or part of their clinical practice. Again, thank you to the folks who helped us with our proposal in terms of the review, and we look forward to any feedback that you might have or questions.
Thank you so much. And Dr. Whiteneck, do you have anything additional you'd like to share?
I'll just second Maria's thanks to all the staff, particularly Rosemary Wren, for always being so responsive to our queries and guiding us through the process. It's really helpful and appreciated.
Thank you so much for that acknowledgement. And do we have any public comments?
No public comment.
All right, seeing no public comments, are there any committee members who have any questions for San Jose State University representatives? All right, we have Member Taylor.
Just a comment to thank you for the work you've done with the ECE credential. I know it's a big lift. And adding the intern pathway for this credential in particular, I think is critical because of the speed with which it's going to be deployed and introduced. And this will help the schools and school districts scrambling to get teachers in place and make your program more accessible to people who might not otherwise be able to afford to do this credential. So hats off to you all and thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Appreciate the feedback.
Any other questions or comments from the committee members? Member Bryant.
I'd just like to echo his sentiments and add to it. I appreciate the flexibility of your structure. There was definitely a lot of thought that went in. It's very clear to considering the needs of the individuals who are coming into such a program. So thank you for really thinking ahead about who your student population is that's coming in and what their needs might be, and constructing a process that is addressing those needs in a proactive manner.
I want to echo your comments as well. You had this if then that figured out, like if this doesn't happen, that happens, if this doesn't happen. So it's a lot of forward thinking, which was really interesting and creative to read. Any other comments or questions? Right, with that then, do we have a motion to approve the added PK3 ECE Specialist Instruction Intern Pathway for San Jose State University? Member Taylor?
So moved.
Because I did all the work, right?
I have to say it all again.
And do we have a second with Member Bryant? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. And you are passing unanimously. Congratulations. We wish you the best in this venture.
I just, I wanted to say something and I didn't want to say it before you voted. I just want to recognize how difficult, I don't want to say difficult, tricky, an intern program for the PK3 ECE credential is. And really looking forward to seeing how you deploy this and how it works for you, because there are some nuances to this particular one that make it quite a bit different than some of the other interns. So good for you, and let us know how it goes.
Just
Thank
adding,
you.
Rosemary Wren has been really critical to working with each proposed program to think through these scenarios because of the two placement requirement, or it's not really necessarily a placement, it's clock hours, number of hours in each placement. And that is different from the other credentials. So we're kind of forcing the issue with every single institution. If it's not already really clear, we're making sure it is really clear. So Rosemary's done a fantastic job, as well as the other IPR members.
And we have now, so San Jose State now joins CSU Dominguez Hills as the two IHEs right now that have PK3 intern programs. So
it's great.
And I appreciate it because it made it for a very unique read because we don't see that very often. And it helped us to become even calibrated on this process that is complex. So we definitely, now that you're going to implement it, wish you the best in the field as you're leading forward on this. All right. So with that, I believe we're now moving to item 14. Is that correct? The discussion of the COA annual report. And I'm going to pass this over to Administrator Cheryl Hickey, who will present this item.
Right, let me open it here for a second. So this is the draft of the report we'd like you to approve today with whatever changes you wish to make. Each December, the two chairs present, as well as Aaron and I, present the summary of what we've done this past year. The Committee on Accreditation has done to the commission, to the full commission in December. So that will happen at the next meeting. And this is the document that they get so that they can, kind of keep that connection with what's happening in accreditation and provide any feedback to you all, and you all provide them whatever information you want to hear. So we followed the same format this year as we have previously. So the first section is about the general information, general accreditation work broadly. And the second section is about your actual decisions and breaking those down in terms of standards, in terms of, which institutions met all standards, those kinds of things. And then the third section is about our current work plan for this current year, which of course this year is much different than previous years because of the literacy certification and the commission deferring most accreditation visits, although not all of them. We still have a significant number going forward between provisional site visits and the institutions that wanted to maintain their accreditation visits. So that's how it's structured, and we are just open to whatever changes, edits you want to make. If you want to make little minor edits, like those you can send to us after the meeting. You don't necessarily have to make them in this meeting, but anything you think is of the wrong tone or you would like revamped a little bit, let us know. But basically, if you could approve this today, if there are major changes, you could also put in your motion that we would work with the two co-chairs to finalize the pieces so you'd still approve, because there's not another meeting between now and the December commission meeting. So you could also make that motion if there's something significant you want to change, then we would work with the two co-chairs. So that's it.
So this is an opportunity for COA discussion on this. And as we call on you for any questions or comments, I just want to share, it was so wonderful to be able to read our year's worth of work in the document, because you don't really realize what we do every single time, and to see it come together. That was no gentle task to put this together. So you and your staff, we want to just extend our appreciation too.
Thank you. And I made a big omission. Michelle Bernardo is responsible for all of section 2. Just collecting all that data after each commission meeting, putting it together and cranking the numbers. Sarah Solari Colombini was also instrumental this time in reviewing the document and making edits and that kind of thing. So really, Michelle, major kudos on section 2, especially. She does all of it, but section 2 in particular is heavy.
It's always amazing to me when we get that first email from Michelle about clarifying some numbers, and it's like July or August, and I'm thinking, are we thinking about the annual report already? Yes, she is.
Right after the June meeting.
With your assistance, I just want to extend my applause to the commission staff for putting all of our hard work together out of great appreciation. And there's so much for members of the public who are watching now. There's so much great information in there, especially if you're ever wondering who your cohort is. Go to Appendix A, all that as a cluster, we're going to use this information for the work that we're doing. So there's information in here that's definitely worth reading for any of our preparation programs out there. So with that, committee members, any questions, any additions, anything you'd like to share? Co-chair.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'd just like to echo your shout out to the staff for putting together this report. It was quite a beast of a task to corral all the information and put it all together. And one little change I'm going to email you as requested.
Sounds great.
Excellent, thank you.
Sure, my only comment is that having seen these reports for a while now, I'm always impressed with how much detail is provided in here. And if you've ever seen the process, the chairs are at the commission meeting and then the commissioners ask us questions. And then we have to be able to address the questions. And this information that's all in one tight package here really prepares us as the chairs to represent everyone, all of us here as a body to them. Because without this information here, it would be extremely difficult. So again, thank you for all your work. Plus.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Again, you can always email Cheryl if it's something small. If none, this is an action. Do we have any motions? We have Member Jones. She has the candy and she has the motion.
And the cookie. And the world championship.
Yes. That's a very important corner.
And
that's a powerful position.
I move that we approve with a potential minor edit from Committee Member Taylor, the annual report of the COA for 2023-24.
Excellent. Do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second.
Member Leggett, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. And motion carries unanimously and with great sincere appreciation. Thank you again for putting that together for us. So Ms. Hickey and your whole team. So now we're going on to item number 15. This is staff report. So back to Administrator Cheryl Hickey, who will present this item.
You have gotten through the last hour pretty quickly. That's great. So I'll mention a few things and then I'm sure that Interim Director Sullivan has some things to say as well. So I just wanted to mention that going back to literacy certification for a bit, that will take up a lot of our time over the next few months. We are in the process right now. We've developed sort of a 3-phase review process. So the first phase was just making sure everything, it was the intake process, making sure that we got back to institutions quickly about if we couldn't open links, we couldn't get to their documentation. And we got right back to the institutions. The second phase will be a consultant review of certain sections of the literacy documentation, things that we're used to looking for, things like candidate handbooks and the information in that, things like that are not about the actual core curriculum. The core curriculum pieces will be the external reviewers. So that's phase 3. So we're currently working on that. We have a pool of reviewers waiting in the wings, and we're kind of working our way through that. But everything has to be done, as Erin mentioned, by June 30th this year. So we will be working really hard, and that will be a big focus of our attention over the next few months. So I just wanted to mention that. We have started the RDA TPA work group. I don't know if it's RDI TPA. RDI. Thank you. I can never get those acronyms. So it's the review of the TPA, and the next meeting is next week. You might want to listen to it. It's a Bagley-Keene meeting, so you can listen to it just like you can COA meeting. That will be focused on what we mean by embedding the TPA. So that'll be the focus of next week's, which I think is really important because everybody right now, I think, has a slightly different perspective on what that means. And then the next meeting in December will focus on accreditation. So I would encourage all of the COA members to listen to the December meeting, they're recorded. So if you can't listen in that time, you can catch up afterwards. But so those will be the next 2 meetings that will probably impact accreditation in some fashion. So and then I just wanted to mention that our staff is slightly understaffed at the moment between retirements and just people, the regular attrition of folks. So we're doing the best we can. We are not really sure of a when we can hire again, but we're doing the best we can to kind of continue to function as much as we can. But we have a lot of work with fewer people right now. So we're trying to keep up with the work, and I just wanted to let all of you know that we're doing the best we can. So and Erin, I know you probably have many things on you.
Oh, that's okay. And you covered quite a few things. I just wanted to, when we mentioned the review of literacy certification, that we had a stage of it that would be reviewed by consultants. When I mentioned that at Cal Council, somebody did stand up and ask, who are these consultants? So I know we're all familiar with consultants are a state classification. They are employees of the commission, but if anybody from the public is listening, I just wanted to clarify that because we did have a question in the room, and I just want folks to know that we have some people on staff that will be reviewing a phase of literacy certification that are qualified to do that. And then of course, we'll use the external reviewers for the rest of the pieces. I just wanted to, if anybody has any questions about the commission's actions a couple of weeks ago, so 2 weeks ago, Friday, they met. There were a number of things on consent, which is good because the items often are can be pretty hefty. So anytime we can get something fairly simple, like approve some regulations, changes or something in front of the commission on consent, we do that. The commission recently approved a set of standalone CWA standards. So just a little history there. We had to review and revise the people personnel services standards. And in doing so, the panel that did that came up with this really fantastic, sort of forward-thinking idea that child welfare and attendance should be embedded within the school psych, school counseling, and school social work. And programs agreed, and it was lovely. And so we have a whole process now where a program candidates can earn both CWA and one of the others. Then a bill was passed to allow LEAs to offer CWA programs, only CWA programs. And in addition, we had some programs come to us and say, well, what about individuals now who completed under the old PPS standards, but they want to add CWA? So all of this great forward thinking about how wonderful it would be to embed CWA, we realized then, well, we really do need to pull these standards out so that there are options for this other variety of folks. So a new set of standalone CWA standards was approved. We have to do some regulations for that. And in addition, we realized probably we should have a precondition just to ensure that all the programs understand if you offer CWA, you need to make sure that your candidates already hold a base PPS credential. So we have a new precondition around that. It comes right out of either ed code or regulations. And the commissioners approved that. We also brought forward to them a plan for assisting folks who could potentially get stuck on Rica Island, you will allow us to call it that. That's not mine. I did not devise that, but someone else did. And I said, I really like that. It's a good picture of, we're getting ready to phase out Rica. We've got statutory language that says starting July 1, it's got to be the LPA, but we have some folks that are in process. So an item came forward to propose that we implement instead that the commission approve -1 standard error of measure. I've already been asked, what does that mean for the base, score, the minimum score? I can't explain this further, but I can tell you that it is a scaled score. Because it's a scaled score, it's not as simple as saying it was 220, maybe now it's 208. It's still, because it's scaled, it's not an easy peasy answer about what that's going to look like. And there were a couple of other things in there, but that's an important piece, is that there's some options now for Rica. We're also looking at ensuring that candidates who are in PK3 programs, who we have regulations that say as soon as a PK3 TPA is available, they must take that TPA. They may not take the multiple subject TPA any longer. Well, we have a PK3 TPA moving through field tests. However, it did again occur to us that there could be some problems for candidates who are in these programs and may start the multiple subject version of the TPA. And then if we pull it out too quickly, what are their options? So I will still iterate, and if Amy Rising is listening, I want her to be sure that she hears me do. The PK3 TPA is going to be the most appropriate TPA for these candidates to take. It's aligned to their TPEs. It makes the most sense. However, we know that some folks have already started the multiple subject or will have started the multiple subject TPA. So we're working on ensuring that they have the opportunity to try to finish that out if that's what they want to do. They certainly can switch models also if that's what they want to do, if they think that that will make more sense.
And the language actually says if you started, if a candidate started before July 1, 2025, that the old version they can continue to complete, just like we would of programs.
Yep. Yeah.
Start after, they must do the PK3.
So there's some things going on there. Obviously, both the RICA and this, TPA sort of allowance are going to require some guidance to the field. So there are two program sponsor alerts moving through all of us right now that we need to review. One about the TPA allowances and one about RICA. And we're trying to make sure that we closely review those so that we don't have, of course, we wouldn't want conflicting language in the two of those. That would not be great. In addition, our ECE group of an administrator and the two consultants, so Renee Marshall, Debbie Keeler, and Bronwyn Kennedy, have been working with a child development permit advisory panel now for a couple of years to make some recommendations to the commission about potential modifications to the child development permit. The field is mixed, I would say. Hopefully nobody will call me up right after I say that. They've been asking for some additional requirements. They've been asking for, we need a BA degree. They've been asking for some of this, but at the same time, and the commission doesn't have any influence over this, they say, we need some salary increases if you're going to make us have, require us to have a bachelor's degree. And that's where hopefully if we continue to work, as we continue to work really closely with our partners at the Department of Ed and Department of Social Services and some other folks out there in the field, we can continue to take a look at that. But for the credential or the permit requirements, their recommendations were heard by the commission also a couple of weeks ago. And the commission approved our child development staff to release a field survey. So right now that survey went out last Friday, was released last Friday. I haven't counted recently, but I mean, within a couple of hours, we had a couple hundred responses already. So the field is really excited. We were up over 650 responses on Tuesday. So I expect we're probably nearing 1,000 if we haven't exceeded it by now. So that'll be really, really helpful. Getting the input from the field will be really helpful. What else, Cheryl? The commission approved modifications to adapted PE to change it, I will say back, depending on how long you've been around. At some point it got changed, the title of that got changed from an adapted PE added authorization, from an adapted PE credential to an added authorization. And the field said, we really still need that to say credential for a variety of reasons. So the commission approved that, and we were hoping that it would be a technical fix in regulations, and the Office of Administrative Law said not so much. So we will be continuing to move forward on those regs, but we, right when we hoped it would be a simple fix, it was not. So really there's a lot coming up in December. So please watch that meeting. Everybody who's paying attention, watch that meeting. And I don't want to belabor it, but I do want to add emphasis to what Cheryl said about we have a little bit of a skeleton crew. It's been a while. And because of the state's budget, we are limited in what we can do about that. So for all the staff that's listening, thank you. We recognize that a lot of people they're taking on additional duties. They're taking on some new roles with Karen and Gay leaving, as you talked earlier. Those are big shoes to fill. And we're finding that we need a couple of consultants to co-fill those shoes. But that's in addition to the work those consultants are already doing. It's not supplanting anything. So just really want to take an opportunity to publicly appreciate the staff in this division for always stepping up and doing it with a smile on their face. They're such a pleasant group of people to work with. So that is all. Yes.
The December meeting you're referencing is the commission, not the committee on the.
It is the commission, yes.
Okay.
Yes, you do not have a December meeting. Sorry. That's twice I've given you the start today. No, we don't meet again. This body doesn't meet again until February.
Excellent. Anything else? Any other questions for staff? And so then we'll move on to public comment. We'll now open for public comment. As a reminder, the COA may not discuss any topics presented during this item as they have not been publicly noticed. Does any member of the public have anything it wishes to say? Please raise your hand in the Zoom feature, or we will wait a moment to see if we have anyone indicating they wish to speak in the chat function. As a reminder, public comments are limited to 2 minutes. So do we have anyone who's requested public comment?
No public comment.
All right, seeing no public comment, then our meeting is officially adjourned.
Wow, good job, you
Do we
guys.
gavel?
Right.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Gently.
Gently.
Michelle, you muting the room?